7:02 here in the region. A beautiful Monday morning. You might as well just stay in bed and listen to us. I mean, what better way to start your week?
It's snowing.
And your mic's not on. Hang on, go ahead.
Blustery.
It's blustery. It's a good term for it.
Blustery. It's, the roads are semi-garbage.
Oh, now you turn me down now. Turn that. There is that one. Okay, go ahead. You talk.
Testing.
There we go. Fantastic. Okay. I think they're fully garbage at this point, but I mean, I'm always the optimist on these things. Let's take a look at So what is it? Today is the Monday, the 16th. There's a lot going on. We're going to try to get to all of it. Probably won't. Normally don't. But let's focus on the important thing, which is traffic. Traffic, as Bob mentioned, is garbage. Paul Goddard messaged me earlier this morning, said we've got rollover accidents. We've got a rollover accident on the Bishop Ford. You've got slick conditions. We've got a crash westbound near Torrance, a crash with ejection. You've got a 7-car pileup near Sibley on northbound Bishop Ford. So just a lot going on. So why don't we just kind of do around the room? And you know what, Lynette, might be good is if you can pull up like the traffic cameras on the Zoom computer, maybe see if we can see anything worth sharing. We can share that on, from the Zoom computer so we can show people what's going on. But for the most part, we're going to be looking to you guys today to let us know where the slowdowns are.
At 5:55, there was a report of there's two reports on 80 westbound, one at mile point 5.2 and one at 4.9. So I don't know if they're
basically
two different ones, but
right.
Basically between
but basically
candidates.
We've got westbound 80 at Torrance, slow down into Indiana. So if you're heading westbound 80, you're going to hit traffic until about Torrance. Now, I'm also seeing an accident with injuries northbound Klein right at about, what would that be? Looks like about the toll road. So northbound Klein, basically the entire way. It looks like 80 all the way north. So if you need to use northbound Klein, that's going to be problematic. If you're using westbound 80 to get in Illinois, that's going to be problematic. Bishop Ford, I-57 into the Dan Ryan, problematic. Dan Ryan inbound, problematic. So we'll call it a problematic Monday with Chuck, Bob, and Lynette. We probably, can you make me a graphic for that? Problematic Monday. So, but we'll be looking to you guys if you see anything. I know Paul said he tagged me in a few things. We're looking for pictures on that. I think he tagged one of my many, many fake profiles. So use the one of me looking pensive on my Facebook, Paul, if you're going to tag me.
That does not narrow it down.
Yeah, right. So we've got guests today. So, I kind of feel like Jim at this point. You guys just book a bunch of guests. I roll in at 2 minutes after the hour, and you guys say, "Hey, look in the camera too, monkey." And so we've got the is this the 7 o'clock?
That's our 7 o'clock.
So we've got Plumbers Local 210 coming in to talk about their apprentice competition. This would be the time. You're always talking about the Olympics.
Yes.
This would be the time for us to ask them if we can be involved. I would show up with like a comically large wrench, like the Three Stooges. I would just start building pipes around myself. This is the time to have common man plumber, like weekend plumber. I would show up with my comically large
and really
blowtorch.
For them, what better example of if you've got some, common dude working a pipe wrench to be like, hey, this is why you want to hire our folks.
Right, there you go. I mean. And then at 7:30, go ahead, slide out so we can see your shirt. So we've got now. I don't know. Do we use CouchWolf's real name, or we just call him the CouchWolf or the CouchWolf?
Let's say CouchWolf right now, and we will let him present himself.
Him or her, we don't know. But just the CouchWolf, a CouchWolf. So CouchWolf making all kinds. I first saw that shirt, I just fell in love. I was going to say, I'll save the joke for later, but are you going to wear that at the grand opening ribbon cutting? Maybe we'll get CouchWolf to send us like 50 of them. We'll just stand along the tracks.
Oh, that would be
wearing
hilarious.
that shirt. Everybody that was disinvited for some reason. So,
I'm looking forward to have. I met him at the Lake County Fairgrounds this past weekend. We've met on social media for whatever that's worth.
Who hasn't?
But I met him in person. Real interesting dude. So, looking forward to having him in at 7:30-ish.
So last week last week we talked about kudos to Ayatollah Khomeini for replacing
Ayatollah Khomeini.
Ayatollah Khomeini. He is now in a coma in Russia. So congratulations to the latest Ayatollah Khomeini. Ayatollah Joey Khomeini, the lesser known of the Ayatollahs.
Why did I just get this picture of Joe Dirt?
No, they've nominated like an 8-year-old child. Like, here, you are the new Ayatollah. Here, you sit here. We're all going to go. You stay here. So, yeah. So now the new Ayatollah lasted approximately 1 week before we blew him up because that's good foreign policy. But we also, I came in over the weekend and tweaked the phone lines, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going 50. I wasn't going to say anything or see if everybody goes, oh, the phone sounds amazing this morning. And I would take credit for it. If it doesn't, I'd be like, I don't know what's going on.
So I got here about 5:30ish or so. And I walk in. She's doing all her producer stuff. I sit down. Oh, man, I've never felt so much like I'm having a conversation with my dad. Where, it's like we're hooking up the computer. And,
Did she tell you to hold the flashlight?
No. We're sitting there, and she goes, let's not touch that until Chuck gets here.
Like, don't.
So
did you slap your hand? Should I just push your hand away? Like,
pretty much. She was very kind about it, but it was just like, okay, don't touch anything.
That's good policy.
Except for after when I touched something, we went live on YouTube.
Right, you pushed a button. You're like, we're live on somebody else's. We're now live on like the CNN's YouTube page. Like, I don't know how we do.
Ooh,
that. Yeah.
We actually, there are times when I believe we get more viewers than CNN.
Well, who doesn't? So we've got an hour, and before our guests come in, what?
Nothing. Just the way you said that is like, we got an hour. I don't know.
We got an hour.
What do you want to do?
We got phone calls.
We do already.
So let me start by saying. Here's my weekend in a nutshell. Saturday, I tried to go get the star on my license for our top secret WJOB project.
Oh yes, I'm very excited for that.
And then late last night, just so I would be extra salty when I came in today, I filed my taxes late last night.
Whoa!
The good news is the national debt is now cut in half. The bad news is I had to write a check for it, but. Nothing is so depressing, and I know I'm a broken record on. Nothing is more depressing than like watching the news while you're doing your taxes. I was just like, and again, my wife made me do it. I don't know if she's listening yet. She absolutely 100% made me do it. I wanted no part of it. I feel dirty for even being a part of it. I wish more people would just say, no, we're done. We're not doing this. We should
end withholdings.
I already am, and that'll be a problem. That's next year, Chuck problem. I've exempted myself. I've exempted myself, and I claimed all dependence of all of Ukraine and Israel and etc. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully they allow webcams in jail.
Well, I just mean if monthly or quarterly, if you had to write a check rather than at the see. There's such a disconnect between actually paying the taxes and understanding what you're doing, because for the most part, people just get a W-2. They run over to some retail shop. They hand it. And, I got $2,000 back. I'm happy. I got something. I
got a refund.
I got a
I'm
going to
go buy a couch or whatever with it.
I think if you had to physically write that check every month or once a quarter and send it in, you'd be a lot more concerned about.
See, now I go the exact opposite way. I look at my pay stub every other Friday, and to this day, I still curse Mike Repay for the local option income tax. So, like, literally, I curse if I had voodoo dolls, I would curse every politician every Friday when I get a pay stub. I mean, legitimately, because that's what you should be doing. You should be going, who took my money? Where did it go? I still, to this day, am salty against Mike Repay for the local option income tax, which was 15 years ago. But, again, you should be holding grudges. This is your problem. You forgive too easily. You forgive and forget, and you move on. You should hold grudges. That's my tip of the day. Hold grudges, especially against the people stealing your money for nothing. So, so she's got the map right. So if you see anything, like there's the webcams and whatnot, if you see anything, just pop them up, and we'll share that with the viewers. But right now, we're just treacherous travel in every direction. Leave early. Or just stay home and listen to us. Call your boss. Be like, hey, look, there's a really good episode of Chuck's Space Disco. I'm going to be late.
You know what I forgot? I got to bring it next week. Becca got us a disco ball for the deck. For the desk.
I love it. Well, you have to get why don't we take some calls? So why don't we do that? We'll take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Now, you may have to tweak levels a little bit. But so go ahead. Go ahead. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning. Wow. It sounds nice and clear.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So
Hey, Chuck,
real quick, Mike, before you start talking, I just want her to know. So Lynette, the feed to them is the fader on the left, and then the return to us, if he's low, is the knob on the bottom right that says like PC on it. So that's the knob to us. So maybe turn him up a little bit back to us so that we sound the same level as him on the radio. So go ahead, Mike. How are you?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that better
no, that's
now?
fantastic. No, it sounds good. Okay, go ahead. How are you this morning?
Good deal. I got to give you credit, Chuck. I got to give you credit,
Thank you.
Chuck, this morning. You really told the truth, and you had your facts right.
About which thing? All of them? Thank you.
Well, if you look at the back of the behind you, it says Chuck's winter.
Right.
Welcome back to winter.
Right. Everybody says it's spring, Chuck. I said not so soon. I said just because it's 70 degrees for one day.
Friday,
it's
Friday.
Go ahead.
Friday. After Friday, you better change it to spring because I think spring starts Friday, right?
Well, I'm not so optimistic. I mean, we'll see. We're going to leave it. We'll probably leave it up here till midsummer. That's how we roll.
When you guys give traffic reports, how come you don't give traffic reports for the useless walk trails?
I'm already in so much trouble as it is. But to your point, there is no traffic on the bike trails. The bike bridges are perfectly clean and passable. There's no traffic to be reported on. So yes, if you'd like to use the bike trail today, feel free. I'd love for you to go out there.
I think we have discovered though that we need traffic monitors, traffic counters, and cameras on all the trails.
Well, here's the thing.
No.
We know
for the children.
We know that they are there. The problem is they don't share that data with us unless we FOIA them. Oh. But again, just like imagine if I had to FOIA, INDOT, like, hey, give me the current travel conditions on your roads. Like, I shouldn't have to FOIA people to get the data that we're paying for. But that's another story. That's why I get this invited to things.
Saturday.
Go ahead.
Saturday, I went and filmed the St. Patrick's Parade in Hammond.
Yeah, how was that?
And after that, I was going to go over to Big Frank's and get my corned beef and cabbage.
It was Chuck Day at Big Frank's. Apparently, I missed that. Unfortunately.
Yes. I put you up there for that.
Thank you.
But the thing is, I was sitting there talking to one officer on the corner where I was standing and getting ready to film, and I had to, you ever seen that commercial on TV, clap on, clap off?
Oh, yeah.
The lights?
Yeah, I missed those.
Well, just after the groundhog saw his shadow, it's been clap on, clap off, jacket on, jacket off. Like yesterday, Saturday, I was all buttoned up filming, and then I aimed the car the right way, so when the parade was over, I skedaddled, and I thought, man, I'm just going home. I'm cold. My hands, trying to operate everything with my hands, no gloves. I just went home. But I tell you, yesterday I went and got my corned beef cabbage from Frank's, and oh, my gosh. Now tomorrow my wife's sister's coming over here, and we're having it. But I tell you, I might go get another one of those today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he'll have it all week.
Man.
They are for a Polish guy. He cooks some good corned beef and cabbage. But Frank makes everything fantastic.
And the price is just good.
Right.
I'm sitting there. I ate the whole thing, and man, it's like I couldn't, because I snack on and off all day, but it filled me up. But the parade was good. I mean, a lot of good things. The bagpipe guys were out there. They stopped. Luckily, I had my camera positioned right and my cam positioned right because I was right between Vito's and the Optimist Club,
Mm-hmm.
And they stopped right in front of the Optimist Club and played the bagpipes, which my camera picked up the video good. I mean, it wasn't a good close-up shot, but oh my gosh, I just love hearing them bagpipes and I bet you them guys were cold because they had them skirt things on,
Did you ask them if they're wearing anything underneath? That's why they don't like me. Mike, Trucker Mike, our phone system is so good now. I can hear the chirp from your smoke detector. Don't be that. Come on, don't be that guy. Don't be that.
Come on.
Go get yourself a 9-volt battery. If it's too tall, I will come by and don't be that guy. Come on, that's like don't be that guy. The phone system is so good. I can hear the chirps in the background, and it just cuts through me like a knife.
Yeah, just every spring I replace the battery.
There it is.
When the clocks go forward. Well, yeah. Well, I got to go to my eye doctor again Monday.
Okay, ask him if he's got some 9-volt batteries while you're there. Come on, don't be that guy.
Well,
be better than that.
I'm gonna on the way home today. I'm gonna pick up the batteries and change it. Just everybody worried, And I tell you one thing, Paul Goddard, his news. It was kind of scary because I had my laptop on this weekend. Then all of a sudden they had a shooting at the 800 block, 169th Street in Hammond. Some guy got shot in the stomach. That is right by my house. That is getting scary, But it just said shooting. I just wonder, did they catch the person or is that person that got shot okay, or what happened? I can't find anything what happened on that deal, but otherwise, and then the state House Senate and the wonderful state of Illinois comes back this week, so we're going to hear the garbage all week about the Chicago Bears. Are they going to go this way or go that way, So now probably we're going to hear news about that,
Well,
but I'm going to let you guys. I'm going to let you guys go so you can get the wonderful Professor Walt on, and he can discuss everything else. And, you and Bob have a wonderful day. And because of the weather, everybody just be safe out there and just have a safe day today.
You got it. Thank you so much. And I'm going to leave a note here on the desk that from now on, when you call in, they're going to listen for the chirp. And if you don't replace your battery, I'm going to have every host call you out on it every day.
Dump the call.
Just dump you, yes. So change that battery. Don't be that guy. Okay.
Hey, I do want to interrupt real quick. Report about a minute ago on 511in.org, a crash on northbound 65 between East 15th Avenue and the Indiana Toll Road.
So
left lane is closed on the northbound 65 heading up to the toll road. So
we've got that. We have a new accident. The left lane is blocked westbound at Klein. So if you're heading westbound, you're going to have issues at Klein. You're going to have issues at Torrance. So westbound travel going to be problematic. Northbound travel, problematic. Southbound travel, problematic. It's just problematic travel. Leave early. Take your time. I don't know what else to say. We're going to keep on it, but just icy roads, treacherous travel, clean your windshields, all those good tips.
It does look like there's a handful of spots on Route 30 in Cherville that look westbound that look a little gummy, as Chuck may say. But again, westbound will most likely start backing up, especially if the expressway is bad.
Right. Good point. Yeah. So as people are going to start heading down 30 to avoid the expressway, expect gummy traffic there. So do we want to take a break and take some calls? Why don't we do that? So why don't we – no, go ahead. We're going to take a break. So we'll take a break. We'll be back with more after this.
Looking for a hands-on career with real opportunities? Plumber's Local 210 is hosting an open house and Indiana statewide apprentice competition on March 18th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 2901 East 83rd Place in Maryville. Come see live demonstrations and watch top apprentices from across Indiana compete while showcasing the skills that power our infrastructure. Explore career paths in pipe fitting, welding, and HVAC service. For more info, call 219-942-7224 or email Shauna at plu210.org.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Summer's coming, and Deep River Water Park is taking applications for all positions. We have jobs both inside and out for all ages that offer great benefits. Free admission on your day off for you and a friend. Free uniforms, paid training, make new friends, flexible scheduling, and more. To apply, just go to deepriverwaterpark.com and you're on your way to a summer of rewarding fun.
Deep River Water Park. It's simply splash-tastic.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
623 in the region. We are monitoring traffic or the lack of traveling traffic. You've got accidents on most of the major roadways at this point, so getting anywhere going to be a little treacherous, slippery, gummy. Did you guys mention, like on Friday, did you guys talk about what's going on at BP?
Just a little bit with so it was something, some wild numbers. Talk about a unified crowd. It was something like 94%,
98% voted against the contract.
Right.
By
Well,
BP.
94% of the members voted, and 98% of that voted no.
Right. So they've been on a like a rolling contract. They voted 98% voted no on this last best contract. So again, you know, we support the guys. You do what you got to do, but also now is not the greatest time to go on strike, but you do what you need to do, right? I mean, I may just buy a bicycle and take the train, of course. But we got phone calls. Why don't we take some calls? So good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, it's one of the best things about being retired is I don't have to think about what the weather's going to be to get into Chicago, especially during the winter or this time of the year. It's a real pleasure to be retired and not have to worry about that. How about that?
Yeah, thanks for rubbing that in, Walt. I appreciate that. But kudos to you for lasting long enough in Chicago to retire. I was about to say you could consider the train today. Trains are only running about 20 to 30 minutes late at this point. So if you want to consider the train, you're only going to be 20 to 30 minutes late, which may actually, you know, get you there quicker than driving at this point. I don't know. But how are you this morning, Walt?
Maybe. Well, I'm okay. This is a red letter day because it's Monday morning and the system, WJOB radio and et cetera, is working fine. How did that happen?
Well, don't jinx it, man. Go knock on some wood and spin around 3 times.
Yeah, I came in yesterday and I went. Jed messaged us. He said somebody should go in and check on things. I said I'm literally sitting here working right now, making sure everything is top notch. So things are working fantastic. Surprisingly, although I was a little worried, with all that wind, I was checking the tower to make sure there's nothing hanging crooked on the side. So otherwise, poor Bob's gonna have to go up there and fix it.
I don't do heights.
You don't do heights? Okay. Well, but yeah. So no, things going well. It took us a little while. Had a few roadblocks, but we're a few bumps in the road. We're getting there. So, but what else is going on, Walt? How are you this morning? What's going on?
Well, one of the news items this morning was the fact that the left-wing comedian on late night television took a shot at Melania, the president's wife. I mean, Melania has been a class act. I mean, she's been acting pretty much like a typical Republican first lady, stayed out of politics. Her issues tend to be very bipartisan kind of thing. But you know, the craziness of the Democrats. They hate Trump so much. They even attack Melania.
And his son
decorated the tree.
His teenage son. I mean, everybody. They just attack everybody. Did this happen on the Oscars last night?
Yes.
So you were the one. You were the one watching.
You were the one person that watched it.
See, so
I did. I don't.
You didn't want? Oh, well,
No, I don't. I didn't. It was just the news. It was on the news this morning.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute, because if there's one night that the arrogance and ignorance of Hollywood shines brightly, it's at the Oscars, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I can't imagine how anybody, like, here's the thing, and I know there's people like to go, one of my goals in life is to have not seen a single movie nominated for I can't even imagine. My wife makes me go to the movies maybe once a year, and that's plenty for me. Well, I want absolutely nothing to do with Hollywood, and one of my goals, I hope I live long enough to see Hollywood collapse. I really do. I hope that in the future of media is like homegrown, locally produced stuff, because I cannot stand Hollywood anymore, and I think most regular Americans feel the same way. They are so disconnected. They are so arrogant and ignorant of what's really happening. I don't understand how anyone continues to support that system, honestly, Walt.
You're right. There was a time when Hollywood was dominated people who cared about America. They were very often refugees from Europe, and they were respectful of the American scene, and they highlighted it. But now it's exactly the opposite. And there are conservatives in Hollywood, and they have to lay low. The left likes to talk about how they're for democracy and so forth. They couldn't be further from democracy if you look at the record of sucking up to tyrants, whether it be Fidel Castro or Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam.
Yeah, it was funny to see. It's always funny when you see Jane Fonda. It's like, you know what? Talking about holding grudges. I hope most people, anyone that was in the Vietnam era, I hope you're still holding a grudge against Jane Fonda. I wasn't even there, and I hold a grudge against her. It's like
That's all I see when I look at her.
Right, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be. You should continue to hold a grudge from 50 years ago. That's how, or 60 years ago. That's how it should be.
Well, let's move to another subject closer to home, and that's what's going on in Lake Village.
Yeah.
What's the latest you know about what's going on there? Are they looking for volunteers, so let's say, to help clean up the mess?
So I
sent a check.
Yeah, go ahead. Who are you? I mean, that's what I've been hearing a lot. People have been reaching out to me, kind of saying, "Hey, who do we?" Because again, speaking of holding grudges, I still hold a grudge against the Red Cross and groups like that. So if you're going to send some money, make sure it goes to a local charity, not a national charity that's going to buy new furniture with it. So always support.
I do have the list.
Go ahead.
Of. This was from Paul Goddard last Friday. At this point, we even heard on our fire department side in Dyer that they were looking to pause some of the physical donations, just because they just didn't have the resources to process that, and because there's some concern about whenever there's a disaster, there's all sorts of fraud coming up. So the I believe the county sheriff, the Newton County Sheriff, set up specific donations at several banks. That would be Kentland Bank, not the Lake Village branch, so Kentland Bank, DeMont State Bank, Community State Bank, Fowler State Bank, and First Financial Bank. And when you contact them, mention you want to make a donation to the Lake Village Relief Fund. And that way... Mm-hmm. Again, that was set up. My understanding from Paul was that was set up with the sheriff, with the cooperation of the sheriff, to make sure that there's no fraud. Those places are where to go. I'll say it again: Kentland Bank, but again, not the Lake Village branch. My guess is they've got some other
in Kentland, probably.
DeMont State Bank, Community State Bank, Fowler State Bank, and First Financial Bank, and just let them know that you want to donate to the Lake Village Relief Fund.
Well, at this stage of the disaster, they need cash to buy people's sanitary items, underwear, because they very often just have the clothes on their back.
Right.
And that cash. Now, eventually, I'm sure they'll be taking in donations in terms of clothes and so forth. But right now, what they need is the money. Now, I sent a check to the county animal shelter in Rensselaer. They've been taking in the homeless
Yes.
animals.
Yes, over in Rensselaer.
From Lake Village. Yeah, and but I think something that should come down the pike here is that people in the construction industry who were used to being around buildings in various states of construction, groups of people getting together and showing up, get in contact with the cops, and offer their volunteer service to come in and help do the cleanup. But that's just something to think about for right now. They need cash, without a doubt, and but it's just a tragedy to see the damage that was done. I mean, it's very sobering. Mother Nature is very powerful, and I faced it, Mother Nature on her terms, on land and sea. First, when I worked for the U.S. Forest Service, when I was at undergraduate at Purdue, out in northern Idaho, and it's very any woods work is dangerous. Can be very dangerous. Which is
Walt, that's an interesting thing that you brought up. I've always sort of been of the opinion that one of the problems we have sort of with modern generations is they are so far removed from, I mean, basically you are so comfortable, right? I mean, you have everything at your fingertips. You have, electricity, you have air conditioning, you can order food on your phone. And it's at your doorstep in 30 minutes. I think one of the best things that we need to start doing for these younger generations is sort of take them out of that comfort bubble, take them out into the woods, or not necessarily go dump them in the woods and say figure it out, like they're in the Blair Witch, but I mean, that these young people are so far removed, they don't understand how quickly all of that can fall apart, right? I mean, how quickly the grid can go down, how quickly you can find yourself. I always remind people, Walt, that aren't old enough. Do you remember? We talked about this at length here on the radio, like even after 9/11. What did Homeland Security came out and said, hey, you better be able to take care of yourself because we may not be able to take care of you. There were times that the government would come out and just say, hey, look, you better know how to take care of yourself. You better be prepared. Don't expect government to come rescue you, right? I mean, that's sort of the thing is we've created this society where, everything is a phone call away, but that's so precarious, right? I mean, that can fall apart in an instant. I don't think most people appreciate that anymore.
Well, people should have emergency bags. So if the house catches on fire, you take your checking accounts, other important papers like that, and to get out, or to have a supply of food, maybe up to like 30 days supply of food. So you never know how bad it can get. But talking about toughening up the youth, how about returning the draft? As a libertarian, I think this is not the top subject.
Right. I mean, again, but this is the problem, though, is, again, Walt, I have a son who's about to turn 18, so I take this, very seriously. This idea of I can't in good conscience send him to war because I don't think that what we're doing is justified. I mean, and again, that's not to say that I wouldn't be the first one to sign up. If something were to happen and they need, just like after 9/11, I said, I don't know what's going on, but my government needs me. And I signed up. And even though, I'm not a kid anymore, I would certainly, do what I need to do if it came to it. But this idea that we're, sending men and women, and I have plenty of friends who went to Iraq and Afghanistan and said, we had no idea what we were doing. They would just send us out. We drive around and hope we didn't, get blown up by an IED. There was no mission. There was just 20 years of just driving around, and we had no, there were 7 days of, fight, take down the enemy, and then 20 years of we don't know what we're doing. So, I mean, again, I fear that's what's going to happen in Iran. And I fear that, now we're talking about, people start talking about Lebanon now. It's like, what did Lebanon do? Now we're going, now we've got our eyes on Lebanon. We're going after, Trump wants to go into Mexico and Cuba. And worry about ourselves. Worry about our,
What happened to no new wars? What happened there?
No endless wars.
Well, but how do you know it's
That's the fine print.
Again, we joked last week about mission accomplished. George Bush shot, 7 days in, like it's Iraq's over. And then we were there for 20 more years. And then as soon as we left Afghanistan, it fell within 7 days. So what did we do? All that blood and treasure for 20 years. And then as soon as you turn your back on them, it collapses. I mean, like that was, it was heartbreaking because again, we knew people that went there and some that didn't come back. And, we accomplished nothing. I mean, this is the thing is I think just this idea of trying to implement Western democracy on societies that just aren't designed for it. Right. I mean, these are tribes. These are people that are tribal. They don't they just don't want traditional Western democracy. And, you can't force it on them. It would be, we spent an entire generation in Afghanistan and they just, okay, you're gone now. And they just went back to their old ways. Right. I mean, again, like who am I to impart my democracy on others? Like give people a chance, like in Iran. It's like, hey, if you got a dictator, you got a tyrant, like, okay, get rid of him, get out of the way and let them do their thing. If they put in, if you get rid of Ayatollah Khomeini and they replace him with Ayatollah Khomeini, that's kind of a sign that that's what they're looking for in government. Right. I mean, they don't want democratic elections. They want another Ayatollah. So, what can I do about it?
This is out of the Post-Tribune dated March 15th. It's a editorial from the Chicago Tribune, which publishes the Post-Tribune. Headline, "The return of military conscription is an option to keep on the table." And I read through the whole thing, and not one word is mentioned about the fact that if they restore the draft, women will be included. This goes back to the Clinton years, and here we're a draft dodger himself. But during the Clinton years, first they opened the door to homosexuals in the military, and when that was done, I was involved as a volunteer at the National Vietnam Veterans Art Museum in downtown Chicago when it was there, and I said to the people who were involved there, they were all almost every one of them were Marines and Army infantry guys from the Vietnam War, and I predicted to them, I said, now that they've opened this door of homosexuals in the military, the next step is they're going to start raising the issue of including women in the draft. They looked at me and said, are you crazy? I mean, how could a girl, 120-pound girl, carry a 100-pound pack? I said, that's irrelevant. Well, eventually they got around to doing it, and I got calls from people from that crowd and said, you got that right. I said, well, what can I say? I just look at the mentality of the people involved, and it's pretty obvious the road that they're on. Now, the last person to be drafted in the military was June 30th, 1973. Military today is about 1.32 million on active duty. In 1973, it was 2.3 million. When I went into the Navy in 1964, there were over 3 million people in the military. And during the Second World War, they drafted 10 million, and during the First World War, they drafted 3 million. It's when you look at our adversaries, particularly the Red Chinese, we should really have a military double to triple what we've got, because that's the only thing that the communist Chinese respect is pure naked power, and unfortunately, the current youth, like 70% of American youth, are not fit to serve in the military.
Well, right, and that's an interesting thing is that you look at that, and I was literally just earlier arguing with somebody, these people that are attacking RFK, how dare you try to take poisons and all kinds of additives out of our children's food. I mean, again, we have crisis on top of crisis on top of crisis, and we are so deep into it, we don't even know where to start fixing it. But you're right. I mean, even stuff like that, where do you start? We start by fixing the food. We start by, there's all these things, bringing back encouraging children to go outside and get fresh air. I mean, all of these little things that need to happen. You're talking about bringing back the draft. Most of these kids couldn't even run a mile, let alone an 8-minute mile. I know I barely could run an 8-minute mile, and I was relatively in shape back then. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine how many kids do you think can run an 8-minute mile? Right? How many people in general? So I mean, again, that's a big issue. You're right. You want to have a society of people fit to fight if needed, you start there, right? I mean, but again, we can't even agree on that. We have half this country attacking RFK for coming out. He put out a video did you see this RFK video? There was a video of RFK like body slamming a Twinkie. It's meant to be fun, but again, that's who he is. He wants to make our food healthy. He wants to get rid of poisons and pesticides and all these things in our food, and half the country is attacking him for it.
Well, they attack him. How dare you remove the plastics from my Doritos?
Right. Well, you should have double the plastics. But again, that's the society we live in, where we can't even agree. Maybe we should cut the junk out of the processed food, right? I mean, we can't even agree there. How are we going to agree on anything else at this point? So, hey, Walt, got to take a break. I appreciate the call.
Sure.
Thank you so much. I was curious if we had any draft age women in the house. Do we have any draft age
I don't know.
women
I don't know. Let's
chime in on
look
that?
to our left.
Hey, Lynette, do you know of any draft age women in the house? Would you like to chime in on Walt's opinion that women, that young women and men should be drafted? What are your thoughts on that?
Leave us out of that.
Like, not my problem. Like, let Congress go first.
That sounds like your newest libertarian member here in Lake County.
Well, this is
with respect, just leave us out of that.
Well, this is what I said. I mean, like your friend Trevor was out door knocking. I said, if you want to get people, to agree to less government, hang out outside the BMV. Like, because that's the place. I mean, same idea. Hang out, like, tell 18-year-olds when they get their first paycheck, like, hey, you see all that money out of, you know where that money's going? To pedophiles. But hey, why don't we take a break, if that's okay with you, and we'll be back with more after this.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Ennigenberg Roofing offers roof replacements, repairs, and new construction. CertainTeed Shingle Master certified, our goal is to treat every customer and project with respect, courtesy, and honesty. Serving Northwest Indiana for over 63 years, contact us for a free roof replacement estimate at 219-365-8879. Mention this ad and receive a free upgrade to CertainTeed Pro Shingles. Ennigenberg Roofing, 219-365-8879.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Hey, it's 6:45 in the region. We need to revisit. We've got a lot going on with traffic. Did we do weather? I forgot. Did we even do that?
We did not do weather.
Oh, she's like, that's why she's mad. She's like, my one job. Okay, so let's take a look at
wow.
My one job. The one thing I look forward to every 20 minutes is to say how the weather is.
I didn't say it.
Okay, so let's take a look at traffic. You got issues on northbound 65. You got issues on westbound 80. We got accidents at Klein and Torrance. You've got issues northbound Klein, right at about the toll road. We've got issues inbound Bishop Ford. Bishop Ford's getting bad. Slowdowns the whole way in. You've got an accident we had an earlier accident right at about the merge. So you've got traffic. Bishop Ford is slow all the way in. Dan Ryan is slow. Basically just, you're going to have tricky traffic today.
Right. Yes, 65's all gummed up. Everything's messed up all directions everywhere. But I do want to add that 30 now between 41 and I'd say Broadway, just on the traffic speed cams, that looks pretty rough too. So
a lot of people taking 30 as an alternate to the highway. That's not going to. It's probably better at this point. Not going to save you a whole bunch of time. I mean, if you're heading 30 to say like 394.
Looking at a live cam right now at the 30 and 41, and there's just a bunch of semis.
So you got all the semis getting off the highway, trying to get off 65, trying to get off 80, trying to get around that. So they're coming through here. So it's just going to be a tricky travel day. How are things in weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 26 degrees with highs of 28 and lows of 13. We're going to have winds becoming strong. It's going to be very cold with snow and flurries up to 1 inch and a storm total of 1 to 2 inches. And then tomorrow and Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 26 and lows of 23. It's going to be very cold with partial sunshine. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 44 and lows of 33 with a couple of flurries early in the morning. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and not as cold.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we've got some guests in the 7 o'clock hour. So in the meantime, we got calls. We're taking your calls if we have any. If not, we're gonna talk until then. So we're good on calls? Okay. So
no calls.
Okay. So if you guys want to chat about anything, you've got about 10 minutes before our guests come in. So how about you, Bob? What do you have?
What do I have? So this weekend, well, no, I half want to tease our 7:30 guest here a little bit. This weekend we went to the Lake County Fairgrounds. There was a farmer's market that we went to. I always like going to those things. I don't know that I ever buy a whole lot, but I do like to see the creativity that people have. And we've got a guy coming in who the shirt I'm wearing, it says, "Sorry I'm late again. I take a janky 1980s train from Indiana," in a South Shore theme. But this guy here, he's going to tell you all about himself and his art. He creates just some amazing region art. Everything from Shoe Corner down in Dyer, the South End, Dyer, St. John, whatever you want to call it, to Rock Island in Valpo. He's a really cool guy, really in tune with the region. So I'm looking forward to seeing him at about 7:30.
It's a good time to mention that the trains are running 15 to 20 minutes late due to weather, which I'm sure you're shocked and appalled by.
What?
Plus, the trains are not being tracked today because that would be the day you'd want to know when your train's running late and they're having internet issues, so you can't track the train to see how late you're going to be. But hey, just throw another $1 billion at it. I'm sure it'll work.
That's what it needs.
It's what it needs. Do you want to we'll take some calls. Why don't we take some calls? So good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. Just trying to get to work on this nasty morning here.
Which way you headed? How's it looking?
I should be going down to Bishop Ford, but I diverted from that, and I'm taking the back roads through Goslin, Brainerd, and all that business.
Don't tell anybody. That's our secret backpack. Don't tell anybody how we get there. So, but yeah, that's a good way to go.
Tell you, it ain't a secret. It ain't a secret, buddy.
Everybody's going that way this morning?
Yeah. And it's, I just want to give a little public service announcement. I've had 3 different times this morning already where cars coming through intersections, failing to slow down, failing to adjust to the weather, just literally sliding through the intersection. If I wasn't paying attention, I would have either got T-boned or rear-ended. Because people aren't competent, they can't pay attention, they drive like idiots, they drive late to work. They just got no common sense. They'd rather wreck a $40,000 car than be 2 minutes late to work.
So clearly you're on the Illinois side while making that. I'm just saying.
No,
you're
not
in
yet.
Indiana too?
I actually just crossed the threshold.
Okay.
I'm in Illinois right now.
Well, now it's Mad Max time for you, so be ready. But no, I mean, I was going to say that's the thing about taking those back roads on a day like this is it is total chaos. There are people just running red lights, and it is chaos. Yeah. It is a nail biter, knuckle grabbers, or whatever, white knuckling. I mean, yeah, it's a day where this is not a day for amateurs. But
well, not only do you got to watch out for your own driving, but you better pay better attention to everybody else's driving, because that's where you run into the problems. Like I said, if I wasn't paying attention, I would have been T-boned 3 times already, and I just made it into Illinois. So,
Well, thoughts
we'll
and
see how it
prayers.
goes.
thoughts and prayers. Clear a path for me because I'll be heading that way eventually as well. So, but yeah, just say
you got to just take your time.
take your time. Make sure you clean that big pile. You got that big pile on your roof or whatever. Clean all that off. But yeah, this is one of those days. You just take your time and, like you said, pay attention to what other people are doing. Just put the show on. Sit back, relax, and take your time. So there's
And don't forget, work will still have all your work waiting for you when you get there.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're 10 minutes late or a half hour late, it'll all still be waiting for you when you get there.
Everybody's gonna be late today, so yeah, don't worry about it. Right? I mean, everybody's gonna be late. Everybody's dealing with the same traffic you are, so we're all just gonna be late.
There's that one boomer boss out there that's saying, "Well, you should have left earlier."
I
And
left
it's
at 3 o'clock
yeah,
to get here on time.
Yeah, I walked here in the snow. It's like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Well, hey, if they want to make me late, I'll just go home for another 3 hours and just take the full time then, if I'm going to get charged anyways.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for,
All right, you
thank you
guys
for the
have a good
call.
morning.
You stay safe out there. I got an update from Paul Goddard. He says there's a flooding problem overnight, which is causing crashes. There's a huge puddle of water getting on 8094 off of 65 West. So I'm guessing as you kind of go under 8094 and pop out, there's a huge puddle which causes like black ice. And then also by Kennedy on 94, it's still flooded in a lane with lots of hydroplaning. So you're going to see a lot of that. I saw some of that in St. John the other day. You get sort of this puddle of water, becomes black ice. You're not expecting it. And all of a sudden you hit this patch and, I saw a few people sliding around. So that's the same kind of stuff to be looking for because everything melted and now it's refreezing. So let's go ahead and take some calls. Good morning, caller on the air.
Good morning. How are you guys doing this? How are you guys doing this morning?
Well, good, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good, but I want to agree with one of you gentlemen that said that in terms with this draft thing, I just think I would not want to send my son to a war
Right.
that I have nothing to do with.
Right.
Here we got a war president fighting with people clean across the world. It's not a win situation, okay? It's not a win situation. You're going to bring people home in body bags, and I just think it's most ridiculous. And when I come on this air, and I truly understand that some people just hate whatever that. I'm about free speech, okay? I am about, right now, I think there ought to be a referendum on some of this stuff right now because Donald Trump is basically, and I say Donald Trump, and I don't hate Donald Trump, I just hate his policies, okay? And he's one man trying to be a ruler of the world, and that's not. One person ran, and his name was Lyndon Baines Johnson, and he said, "I will not run again because of this war thing," and he stepped aside. Right now, I think what's going to make Donald Trump come to his senses, we're on the eve of an election right here next door tomorrow in Illinois.
Right.
We're on the eve, and right now, Donald Trump is losing, okay? And sometimes a lot of Republicans, good Republicans, I'm not going to do like sometimes these guys say, "Oh, you're bad." All the Democrats are not bad. All the Republicans are not bad. We're American. But we have a right to have a democracy, okay? We have a right to not be saying. But I would have some guy who don't know what the hell he's talking about attack Ron Matlock. Well, why would you attack Ron Matlock because I believe in free speech? Why would you attack Ron Matlock because I say I don't want to go to an unjust war? I went to one with unjust. They say it was a conflict. There was the Vietnam War, okay? And a lot of people lost their lives. We fighting with everybody. Right now, you go to it, and pretty soon, next week, gas will be $5 a gallon if this thing created by Donald Trump, So let's not blame Ron Matlock. Let's not blame Mott. Let's not blame any of those guys who attack Ron Matlock because they don't have any power. This guy's got a lot of power, okay? Give me a break. So I'm just simply saying that, yes, I have opinions about when I think I was probably the first one called on this radio to say we need to go to down there in Indiana, right about 60 miles from us, Lake Village, and give. And I was supposed to go down there, and I was going to go down there. It was a good thing. Go down there. These are our neighbors. I don't know how they think. They might be just so far to the right they don't get on a plane with a left wing on it. I don't know, but I don't care. I'm about humanity, okay? And I just believe right now that Donald Trump thinks he can do anything he has to. And the Supreme Court is kind of like disagreeing with him and stuff like that. They kind of coming to common sense. And I see everybody is this Democrat didn't stand when the president was speaking. Well, why would you stand for some BS? Okay, why would you stand? I think they stand for things that's right. I'm saying you have to say that America first, okay? And right now we spending. Do you know what we are spending $2 billion a day for war? This is crazy. When people can't find their utilities, NIPSCO stuff. And I hope I'm making sense to you, gentlemen, but it just doesn't. I don't have to worry about being drafted. I'm too old. I done served my time in Vietnam War. I got back in. Thank God I got back. I didn't have to bring me back in a body bag. I thank God for that. And I just said, like you gentlemen said, that you would not want your son and daughter because people say, well, you're not patriotic. What do you mean you're not patriotic? You just basically think it's a crazy thing, and we need to keep our nose out of everybody's business. They've been fighting in Iran and in those countries for years and years and years. And Donald Trump's talking, in 5 days it's going to be over. Do you believe that BS? You got a lot of people believing that. So I'm going to get out this air, and I know this is going to bring, as this record say, give them something to talk about. There's a record say, this is going to give them something to talk about. And it's going to be all attacking people who don't have nothing to do with what's happening in this country. Okay?
Yeah.
With that, have a great day. So don't have anybody to call me. Tell Ron Matlock, what are you going to say? Don't worry about what Ron Matlock going to say. He's going to say what he want to say anyway. Okay?
I appreciate the call. Here's what Chuck Pullen's going to say. Chuck Pullen's going to say, go ahead.
And I appreciate free speech on WGOB, okay?
God bless America. But here's what Chuck Pullen's going to say. Chuck Pullen's going to say, it's 7 o'clock in the region. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. We'll be back. We'll do a refresh on traffic weather, and then we're going to be talking to Plumber's Local 210. We'll be back with more after this.
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for Poland?
Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Who's ready for Polish?
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Hey, it's 7:01 in the region. Let's take a look at traffic and weather because it is looking ugly out there. Let's start on the east. I-65, a parking lot in both directions. So basically just assume I-65, north and southbound, 30 on up and down 230. I-65, just an absolute parking lot in both directions, which should be a surprise to no one.
41 is looking bad.
41 is looking bad going into 30. 30
Correct.
Westbound, we've got a whole bunch of traffic getting off the highways, trying to take 30, and 30 is looking bad basically all the way through. I blame Dyer for not fixing their lights. They need to time those better. No? Nothing? Go ahead. You're going to rant on blame INDOT.
INDOT is just a...
Okay.
For whatever... Okay, sorry.
But anyway, now I was waiting for you to blame INDOT, but yes.
I was ramping up.
Someday, Bob and I are just going to break into those boxes in the middle of the night and retime all the way. Like, the traffic's moving. Yeah, we hacked them, and now they
now they're working.
So westbound 80, we had an earlier accident at Torrance. It's got traffic backed up all the way to Calumet. We had an earlier accident on Klein westbound. That's also causing delays. Northbound Klein up by the toll road is having some issues. Bishop Ford inbound, just absolute solid traffic all the way in. We had an earlier accident, or earlier pileup on the north end of the Bishop Ford. So you've got heavy traffic, Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan on in. Basically just heavy traffic everywhere. So wherever you're going, leave early or just don't go. Stay home, listen to us. I mean, that's the way to go, I think. But just heavy traffic everywhere. If you see anything, you know the number, 219-845-1100. How are things in the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 26 degrees with highs of 28 and lows of 13. We're going to have winds becoming strong. It's going to be very cold with snow and flurries up to 1 inch and a storm total of 1 to 2 inches. Tomorrow and Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 26 and lows of 23. It's going to be very cold with partial sunshine. Then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 44 and lows of 33 with a couple of flurries in the morning. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and not as cold.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we've got a caller from Plumber's Local 210 on one of the lines. So we're going to go through calls and see if we can find them. But in the meantime, we'll take your calls as we go through. So let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm the plumber from 210. It's I got like 7 clogged toilets to take care of today. So a lot of people eating that Stanza sausage aronia factory, fogging up everything in Whiten. So
here,
I'm really too busy to talk to you guys.
I blame myself for all of this.
This was on you. This is on you.
I brought this on myself. How are you this morning?
Yeah. Too much cabbage in the system. You got all these Polish people doing the beef and the.
If that's not the line for today, too much cabbage in the system.
And you're doing the pregame for the St. Patty thing and a lot of clogged stuff. So why don't you get like the Union driveway guys who screwed up I-65? Get them on explain, okay? I gotta go.
Too much cabbage in the system. What do you have to say about that, Chuck?
Let's try a next caller. Maybe this will go better. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Chuck. There's this thing called like caller ID. Did you ever think about doing that?
But we would not have.
I'll go back on hold.
But we would not have all of this. We would not have all of this fun if we weren't just blindly taking phone calls, would we? If I was screening calls, whose calls do you think I would take? I would be like, not you, not you.
It'd just be 3 hours of you and Walt.
Can we just acknowledge the previous caller? That was brilliant. I love that. That was amazing.
If only he would channel that energy into something useful.
It made my morning.
Like what? Buying Bitcoin?
Hey, I hope you're buying the dip because one day it's going to be worth $1 million. I'm just going to come on here and just laugh when it hits $1 million. I'm like, I told you guys. I'm all into Ethereum. I think that's the future. But buy the dip, man. Buy it just like with the,
Hey, get to your guest. But I do want to call. I want to call later and just be the antithesis of Mr. Ron Hubbard, Ron Matlock.
Why don't I just let you guys? We just have just put you guys on the phone together.
When did he start talking in the third person? That became kind of annoying about halfway through his call, and I see in the comments section, the chat section, that someone's thinking about a drinking game every time he talks in the third person and calls himself Ron Matlock, that we should take a drink. I also think that during Trucker Mike's calls, every time he says you take a drink, and we would be wasted by the end of this morning program.
See, that's why I can't encourage such things. But if the YouTube comments would like to do that, I can't control that. I can't police that. So, okay, why don't we we can either put you on hold or you can call back later. We're looking for our thank you so much.
Later.
So we're looking for our Plumbers local 210 guest. So let's take another call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, yeah, I'm not a plumber, but you guys remember Ricky Henderson, ball player Ricky Henderson for the A's?
No.
You remember him?
No, I don't.
Well,
what did he do?
Ricky talked like this. Bob, you remember him, Ricky?
Nope.
Well, he's Ricky Matlock Henderson. Ricky be fast. Ricky be stealing bases. Ricky be the best player on the diamond. But, Matlock, because you get on and spew bullcrap, address these two issues, and you can never call back and just get to the point. Address the Democratic fraud and where our coffers would be. Number two, address why you would not stand when the president says our duty is to the American people, not to illegals. Ron, either you're weak or you're bipolar, and maybe both, but just address those two issues without bashing Trump. Matlock, be fast.
Okay, thank you for that.
That was a decent out for the phone call.
I was watching something the other day about the hospice fraud taking place in California. This is the thing about, sort of this idea. I remember, is it Representative Ilhan Omar was talking about guardrails and things like that. Like, we constantly create systems without guardrails, and then we're surprised when people find way. Like, you think that the daycare center is the only fraud. No, there's fraud in everything. And the fact that our government isn't smart enough to say, hey, we're going to create this pool of money for hospice or for autism, and again, you want to say Democratic fraud. There's a lot of fraud going on in this state too. And you can see that. You can see those numbers. When you create systems without guardrails, because you have a lot of people that their mind, they're thinking with their heart and not with their mind. They go, oh, we want to help people. I get that. That's very, people get into politics because they want to help people. And I love that about you. But when you create these systems and you don't think about how could people defraud us? How could people manipulate this system to steal money? When you go into it with these good intentions and you don't have the capacity to think about how people can defraud you, then you're going to be defrauded. I mean, and that's the reality of the situation.
Well, and to assume that, just the, what was it, $9 billion for the daycare scandal, you think that was isolated to A, just one state, and B, just one industry?
Right.
Come on now.
But again, that's the point, is that get mad about that, but remember that is literally the tip of the iceberg, that fraud is rampant in every section of everything. And the reality is, I mean, honestly, I just don't think our government is smart enough to track and fix it. And the people that do show up and go, hey, I'm identifying some issues, those people get fired, right? I mean, again, this is the system that we've created, and you are good with it because you get a little taste. Everybody gets a little taste, so they're okay with it. I mean, and that's the problem. So let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, who was that plumber guy, dude? What happened to that interview?
They're on hold. You're taking up all of the phone lines. You and all of your
burner phones.
You and your burner phones and your various identities. Okay, so what's going on?
What
do you mean various identities? This is the first time
It's the first time you called. Go ahead.
Yeah, first time. I just woke up like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, I apologize for my
Although
co-host.
I did hear the Matlock call.
Is that what woke you up?
Stunning. Hey. Well, kind of shocked me, actually. It was a little dumber than normal. But hey, when is that guy going to apologize to me for accusing me of putting a Trump flag on his house or porch or mailbox or whatever? I'm still waiting for that mailbox. Hey, you guys watch the Academy Awards?
So,
admittedly, I didn't know they were on. Not that I would have tuned in, but
I'll revisit what I said earlier. I said there's never a more stunning display of arrogance and ignorance in Hollywood than on Oscars night. My goal in life is to not see a single movie. I mean, honestly, if I can go a year without going to the movies or seeing a new movie, I'm happy. My goal is to have not seen a single movie nominated or winning an Oscar. My goal is to not have any part of any of that at this point. I want nothing to do with it. I'd rather watch YouTube videos than spend, $50 going to the movies. If you're asking me, that's my opinion. Go ahead.
Plus, when you pay for that subscription of Pornhub on a yearly basis, it's cheaper too, right, Chuck?
Plus, you got to get it out of Illinois now. It's a whole big thing, and but anyway. But then,
Chuck's finally interested in VPNs.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that too deep of a cut?
Going at his house. Chuck's got a computer in the corner of the basement, hidden behind a washing machine. And his kid's like, "What's this one for, Dad?" He's like,
"It's Bitcoin.
Don't bother me."
That's the Bitcoin miner.
That's my miner.
But don't you guys wish that Hollywood would actually make a couple films once a year that someone wanted to see? Remember the days of Chinatown and The Godfather and Casino and, stuff that was decent? I mean, I unfortunately saw like 8 of these 10 that were nominated, and one of them was decent, called Sentimental Value. The one that won for Best Picture, whatever the Chaos movie was with whatever the hell his name was, Leonardo DiCaprio. Just, it's kind of a crying shame. I mean, I could get their arrogance if they had a movie that was worth it, but this one battle after another, I'm still waiting for somebody to text me and tell me it was a good movie.
There's a great clip. I don't know if you don't follow him. There's a Bill Maher who I just love his content recently. He's got this thing called New Rule. So he put out a video the other day called New Rule about the Oscars. He basically explains how it is now impossible for Hollywood to create good movies because of the
you
rules.
have to check off all these boxes
now. And that was his point. I mean, and it's a great 9-minute segment called New Rule about the Oscars. Go check it out. I mean, again, I couldn't explain better. And again, because he's part of that machine, because he's there, he sees it much better than we do in Indiana. But they are incapable of creating good content, and I'm good with that.
Well, why? I mean, Chuck,
go watch the video. Go watch it
in 30 seconds.
No, go watch Bill Maher. I can't. If I could play it on the air, I would, but I can't. But go watch Bill Maher, New Rule about the Oscars, and he will explain in depth better than I can why. And because I don't care. I mean, honestly, I watched. You know what I watched this weekend? I watched Friday the 13th on Svengoolie, the original Friday the 13th. The Sven Squad had, because that's my wheelhouse. I could care less about anything created in the last 20 years. But
now they got that one studio called A24. They do make some very interesting things. I'll give them credit for that. And I have seen probably 3 movies that were out in the last maybe 18 months about some of the turmoil over in the Middle East, which I would have to admit, man, riveting as hell, but boy, do those people hate life, and do they hate the Jews.
But even the idea of
they don't like us either.
What's that one group, the Angel Films or whatever, where basically people outside of Hollywood come and go, "Hey, I've got an idea, and if you can get enough people on board and crowdfund it." So and this is what I keep talking about, the basically the parallel economies. You're going to have, this is what's going to happen, is you're going to have people coming in outside of the traditional Hollywood machine, and they're going to find ways to produce content because, the equipment, the ability, we can create content cheaper than ever in history. Literally a kid with a backpack can make a movie. People are making movies on their iPhones. So again, there's no reason why we need Hollywood. There are backdoor ways to create good. It's all about storytelling, and that's where Hollywood is failing. Is they cannot tell good stories, and so they're just rehashing the same
funny
thing
you mentioned
from 50
that, creating
years. Go ahead.
cheap content, because that's the model Jimmy took up with, and unfortunately,
I said you're watching.
Forgot the key.
Go ahead.
He forgot the key word in that. It's called quality.
Well, how many people are watching cheap content right now on WJOB? Is there 40 or 50 people watching this cheap content that we're creating, for relatively inexpensively? I mean, that's the whole thing. Is that
at least on Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, you got quality there for a little bit, but after that.
Well, you got lumped in on Friday. Congratulations!
Hey,
I didn't forget you on Fridays. That's good. So, okay,
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Although I got to tell you, I got to tell you there, Big Bob, that show from what was it? I think last Friday was it, or was it last? I think it was only you and your gal pal in there.
I've slept since then, so I don't know
You
what
might
we're
want to
talking about.
You might want to pull a plug on that plan, dude. You got to come in with some notes because, well, that was spiraling into the ground faster than a kamikaze hitting Hawaii, baby. Not good.
Well,
But-
so
but
he
Bob, you're on the right
complimented
track,
you,
thank
and then
God.
okay, so you got halfway there. He complimented. He said he listens on Friday, but then he said it was a plane crash. So you're getting there. So okay,
Well, the other Fridays, Bob's been picking up the pace. He's actually sometimes doing better than you, Chuck. Well, I'll give him credit.
no, I don't
But I got to
disagree.
hang up. I got a plumber coming to my house right now for a little problem. I was a little long cabbage this weekend too, so I got to go.
Okay, appreciate the call. Thanks for chiming in.
Thanks for calling for the first time today. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Okay, let's take another caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello, Chuck.
Hello.
Hello. Is this 22 Charlie?
It is. How are you, sir? Where are you stuck this
Good,
morning?
it's Mark.
Where are you stuck in
No,
traffic
I'm-
this morning?
Nowhere. I am going to work in Hammond. I'm on 173rd Street. I got my Subaru in snow mode, and I'm plowing right through it.
So the roads are clean in Hammond, is what you're saying?
Yeah, virtually. It's good. You know, some are better than the others, but yeah, they're good.
Okay, that's good to hear.
You know, as long as people don't. So anyway, the real reason I'm calling is, aren't you excited that at the end of the month, the Moon on South Shore is going to start, and the director is retiring? There's your next job.
Taking his victory lap.
Apply for his position.
I have sent 4 resumes under Chuck's name to Nick D for that position.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
Well, they
Even if
actually
you got an interview.
They actually did name. As soon as I go to their website, the Facebook, the first thing I see is bikes on trains, like they knew I was coming. It's funny. So they actually, it's funny.
That's like a fever dream for you.
It's funny that they're waiting. The first trains are not running on a Monday, which on a normal thing you'd think start. Like for some reason, like I don't know why they decided not Monday. We'll wait till Tuesday to run trains. I don't know why, but yeah, to your point, they did put out a letter last week that said Mike Nolan is retiring after 43 years in the railroad industry. I mean, he was in HR. That's not technically railroad, but whatever. So he talks about what a great job they did with the double tracking project. Now they call it the Lakeshore Corridor. They also, so he's proud to announce the completion of the 8 Mile project. And they did name, let's see. So where was it at? They did name somebody, the replacement. Did they not? Can you find that? Somebody from New Jersey, I think it was, but that's a good choice. But, so there is a replacement for Mike Nolan, who is sadly retiring after job well done, mission accomplished. Only 25,000 ties need to be replaced.
Wait a minute, stop. Time out. Don't they have to legally post the position and then take applicants instead of just get some Joe Smo that knows nothing about the region and pack up his U-Haul and he'll live in a gated community in Valparaiso or something?
Is this your first day in Lake County politics? Come on, man. No, that's not how this works. Let me see if I could find the announcement about that. But no, they brought somebody in. Let me see if I can find it. Here, there we go. Here from the Times. They'll definitely have the story straight. Okay, so Mike Nolan retires. He's succeeded by David Desch. From the CEO of Tri-Rail in Florida, not New Jersey, Florida. But
now, if it was the monorail at Disney,
monorail,
dude, you know how excited
a guy
I would
named
be?
Lyle Landley is now running the South Shore. But yes, he was a CEO of So this poor guy is moving from Southern Florida to
oh my gosh! Thoughts and prayers, dude.
You're moving from this poor guy is moving from Southern Florida to Northern Indiana, man. I don't even know. Have they? Here's a guy who runs a railroad that's never seen snow, and you're going to come to northern Indiana and have to deal with snow. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you deal with hurricanes, we deal with snow. So good luck to him. Maybe they'll do better with the weather. But yeah, to your point. But again, I can't wait to ride the grand opening. Neither can Bob. We're all going to be there on grand opening day
on March 31st.
March 31st. Why not just wait till April 1st at that point?
April Fool.
Come on.
Well,
too easy.
Yeah.
That would have been too easy.
So, what train are you going to catch first? Maybe
I'm just going to ride for 24. I'm going to be like, you know, those guys that like. I'm going to ride for 24 hours. I'm just going to ride back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, I'm going to build like a tent on the train and be in between the bike rail racks, and I'm just going to ride. I might just move to the train. I might just live there. Why not? I mean, it's the most expensive real estate in Lake County. So. Okay, I need to move on, Mark. We got to get through some stuff, but hey, thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Peace,
have a safe drive. Yeah, why don't you come ride? We'll go for a train ride. You come with me.
Yeah.
We'll all go. I'm going to have a reserved bar car. We can all go for a ride.
I'll get sick that day. I feel like I'm going to get sick that day, March, whatever it is. So yeah,
good
Let
plan.
Me know what train, what time? Huh?
I said good plan. We're all just going to put in a sick day. I'm going to put mine in now. I think I'm going to be sick either way, but that's a different story. Okay, we got to go. I appreciate the call. Thank you. So we got more calls?
We got one more.
Okay, go ahead. Let's take the call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'd like to correct something you said. Subscribe to me that I said we ought to have a draft. No, I said we needed to have a larger military establishment. But how do we get there? For one thing, we need to improve the pay and benefits for the military, including housing and so forth.
Right.
And actually, there's an unemployment bulge amongst young Americans 19 to 28 years of age. There are a lot of reasons, but one of which is the AI. So there's going to be people out there looking for employment.
Well, but you said we were talking earlier about, basically, kids going in the woods and stuff like that. I mean, I would be okay with a scenario where you essentially had a year of service, sort of similar to what Israel does. So it's kind of like, okay, you can go to the military, you can join, the forestry service, you can be a volunteer, you can go and help inner city youth. Like for my son, it's like I would much rather him go and help, maintain some of the forests out west than fight in the military, right? I mean, how about a year of service? That would be we can definitely use the help here just as much as we can use bolstering the military. But to your point, I mean, that's the thing is, we can barely take care of the million plus that we have now. And I get where you're going, this idea of increasing the numbers, but we can't even take care of the people we have now. I mean, I've heard nothing but horror stories about the housing conditions and mold and, they have problems with water. I mean, just the housing conditions that they put our military members through. It's abhorrent.
Let me get to the point as to where I think it'd be controversial. And that is, I think we need to, like the French, have a foreign legion of at least 2 ground divisions.
Okay.
And the deal would be, for one thing, the recruiting booths would be flooded with people who wanted to take advantage of this, and the idea is that they'd have to sign up for at least 6 years active duty, and once they get 3 years of active honorable service, then they're eligible for citizenship on an accelerated basis. What do you think of that?
No, I mean, I think that is something that I think we should explore. I think that's certainly this is like one of those things that we talked about earlier, is that we need to start finding some common ground where we can sort of all agree on some solutions. And the problem is we're so far apart that it's difficult to even, start having discussions like that. But I think all of those are good ideas. I think the problem that I have is I've met the government that you're asking to accomplish those things, and I don't think that they're capable of doing it. Much like I don't think our government's capable of building, I've seen our government try to build 8 miles of train track here in the region or high-speed rail in California. So that becomes a problem. Is I have zero faith in this government being able to accomplish anything of substance. So, find me a better government and I'd be on board for that, right? But then maybe if you find a better government, you wouldn't need all those things. So becomes chicken or the egg. So, but hey, I appreciate the follow-up call, Walt, but we do have to go. So do we have more callers? Are we going to take a break? How do you want to do this?
We should probably take a break.
Take a break. So why don't we take a break? And we are going to we're just going to call him CouchWolf coming into the studio.
Yes, we'll let him identify himself.
Or he may just wear like a bag over his head. I don't know. So we'll bring, a South Shore with a big South Shore sticker on it. So
big old region rat.
Let's take a break. We'll revisit. We got a lot of traffic and weather to talk about. We'll do that, and we'll bring CouchWolf in to talk about
lots
his wares.
Lots of traffic.
Lots of traffic.
41 north is rough.
Everything north is rough. Everything south. Everything is just it's a gummy mess.
We've got now. We'll come back. We've got now 5 alerts on 65. So go slow.
Okay, so we're going to take a break and bring in our guest, and we'll catch you up on traffic and weather after this.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its 3rd generation providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local. Family owned. Here for your family.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
If you're watching on YouTube, it looks like we're bringing back Bargain Bonanza, but we are not. Although, I mean, we should just leave these here and just sell them. Like people can come in and buy shirts, like one day a week. But it is 7:30.
They are looking to do something with the other side of the building.
We can just sell T-shirts. There, we can have like a
T-shirts
little
and coffee
and records. We have lots of records and old cables to sell. If you need an old Epson printer cable, we've got one of those. So let's do traffic and weather because that's what you guys want to care about at the moment. So we've got it's bad everywhere. So let's talk about let's start at 65. We've got northbound 65. There's an accident. Northbound 65 right at about 8094. We're hearing that there's some black ice if you're taking northbound 65 to westbound 8094. There's an accident there. So we've got heavy traffic basically the whole way up 65. I mean, literally the whole way up 65 from Crown Point. You've got heavy traffic going southbound 65. We've got heavy traffic westbound 8094. We have accidents at Klein. We had an earlier accident at Torrance. You've got heavy traffic westbound We've got heavy traffic at 30 and 41, westbound 30. Trucks are trying to get off 65, trying to take 30. So you got heavy traffic on 30.
231 is even starting to gum up.
231. There's trucks all over the shoe corner right now trying to get by. We got northbound Bishop Ford. There's a couple of accidents on northbound Bishop Ford. Bishop Ford's heavy the whole way in. We had an earlier accident at the merger, as Tony Panic would say. So you got heavy traffic northbound Bishop Ford the whole way in. Dan Ryan not looking horrible, probably because nobody can get there. But once you get past the south end of the Dan Ryan, things moving pretty well. So it looks like if you did want to pay the ransom, as we call it, if you did want to take Skyway to the toll road and onto the take the Skyway to the Dan Ryan, that's
one of
an
the
option.
few green streets.
If you want to spend the $13, that's a way to go. Other than that, just heavy traffic everywhere. You said we had a couple of alerts. Besides that, did I miss anything?
We did, but they were all on 65.
Okay, so basically
again.
just as you expect, stay off 65. I was going to make the joke about take the train. Trains are running 15 to 20 minutes late currently, and they can't be tracked. Like, it's like a threat. Like, the trains are running late, and you can't track them. So, cool. But if you did want to take the train, it's a possibility. Thoughts and prayers. Let us know how it goes. How are things in weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 26 degrees with highs of 28 and lows of 13. We'll be having winds becoming strong, and then it will be very cold with flurries and snow and flurries up to 1 inch and a storm total of 1 to 2 inches. And then tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 26 and lows of 23. It's going to be very cold with partial sunshine. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 44 and lows of 33 with a couple of flurries early in the morning. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and not as cold.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We've got just tune in on YouTube. There is a table. There's a
Table
guy,
of wares.
There's a table of wares and a guy who brought them. How are you, guy? Who are you, and what are you doing here?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I am Adam. I run the t-shirt company CouchWolf, and I design all the shirts. And they are mostly about life in the region. They're love letters to living in Northwest Indiana. So, tons of stuff about region rats. I love local legends and lore, so you guys had mentioned trucks wiping out on Shoe Corner. There's a shirt about Shoe Corner, which, if you don't know, is just a corner where everyone throws their shoes.
And for folks who've never been by there, it's listed on, I think, Google Maps as Shoe Corner, but it's almost something that we could say where it's at, but it's almost like a fun adventure to just go find it. I mean,
we used to call it a state line cruise, and you go find your way to the Shoe Corner, and back in the old days.
Yeah. So I think we originally connected on social media because at some point in time, my wife was somewhere, and not only do you have the shirts and I think some head stuff, but you have stickers. And as you can see, This is how I show my personality. And one of your stickers magically ended up on there. And not knowing any connection, just it was Region Rats. It was pretty cool. And from there, I then discovered everything else you have, from Shoe Corner, Gypsy Graveyard, the train one, which I'm sporting now, which is fantastic.
So I fell in love with you because of the train shirt.
Thank
As
you.
somebody who rode the train for 20 years, I fell in love with that shirt. And as you know, the new train is launching. They should have waited till April Fool's Day, but on March 31st, and that's a whole story unto itself. That could be another shirt. Like, they spent $1 billion on the train, and all I got was 25,000 broken railroad ties. But
it very likely might spill over to April 1st.
I would say that the train's leaving on March 31st. It will get there on April 1st.
Yes.
It will get there on. But for me, if you don't know, I've spent the last forever basically arguing about that project, and as somebody who actually rides the train, so again, like you talk about love letters, that shirt, I just fell in love with that, and then we found all of your other stuff. So tell us how you got into this. What inspired you to do all this?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I had I'm a graphic designer, and I had been living in Chicago for 10 years, and I was working remote, and I moved back here to the region after 10 years of Chicago, and I got laid off. And as a creative person, I mean, I didn't know what to do with myself. And so
Yes, we understand.
Right.
You should make graphics for the radio station.
So, I was kind of falling back in love with Northwest Indiana.
Oops, hang on.
And
there we go.
Decided I should make some shirts and designs about things in the region that I loved. I mean, I grew up here I love local legends and lore, so like it just seemed like a natural fit to make art about it. And I mean, there was shirts I wanted that didn't exist, so I figured I should make them. And the ideas are abundant, and like you guys were talking about the South Shore shirt, and so if you're listening on the radio, it's a shirt that looks like the South Shore logo, but instead of saying South Shoreline, it says, "Sorry, I'm late again. I take a janky 1980s train from Northwest Indiana."
Which, again, you would think that's hyperbole. No, the trains are from 1981. There is a plaque on the train when you go to ride it. It is a 1981 train. So that is a factually accurate statement. As all satire is based in reality. I was looking, you even have like a Resurrection Mary shirt. That's cool. I'm going to have to connect you with Bob from Bob After Dark.
Okay.
Bob is a big fan of the Mothman and all sorts of legend and lore. So he's on Tuesday nights here on WGOB. Right. You have to check that out. I'm sure he would love to connect with you.
He seems like a gypsy graveyard kind
gypsy
of guy.
Graveyard. So they actually had a tour at Bachelor's Grove over the weekend. I was going to go to that, but it was too cold. So again, these are the kind of people. Oh, what is it? Go ahead. You can just say it on the air. So you said the next show canceled. We can just keep going. Okay, cool. So we're here till we're ready to go. But where is your inspiration? I mean, again, so what inspires you to come up with these ideas?
Drugs and alcohol.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes I have so many ideas I can't get them all out fast enough, and a lot of times. You're just sitting there waiting for something to happen, and you walk around, and but yeah, like I could tell you, specifically on, from the radio that the South Shore is always late. I rode the South Shore to school for 2 years; it was always late. So I mean, it's just one of those things of being like, okay, this is an aspect of life in Northwest Indiana that I think everybody can relate to. Or like, I have an Indiana Dune shirt that says it's smokestacks billowing pollution into the air with a two-headed mutant fish, and it says, "Come on in, the water's just fine."
So do they sell that at the gift shop at the state park quite yet? And have you asked them to sell it there?
What's funny is around the time I was designing that shirt, we were in talks about I had made these like friendly, nice design just that said Indiana Dune shirts, and we kind of had it out in the open about, just like, yeah, like, we'll talk, we'll get these in here. And I was like, should I pull this punch? And I was like, nah. Like, I started CouchWolf to do whatever I want, in the sense of like getting away from my corporate graphic design work. Like my business cards look like trading cards with region rats on them because I wasn't getting to do things like make trading cards and stickers about rats smoking cigarettes. So yeah, I mean, my shirts are not in the Dune shop. I think they saw that, and they didn't think it was funny.
Here's what you should do: is set up like a van right outside the dunes,
right,
and sell those shirts to unsuspecting German tourists. Okay, so you also have a Northwest Indiana Bears shirt. How is that selling?
Correct. You know what? I was at 219 Day when the day before on Thursday, they'd made the announcement that Indiana had put together this package for the Bears, and I don't know how many I had, but they were gone in the first hour, and people proceeded to ask about them all night. And yeah, in a way I was grateful because I was like, I've designed like 30 other shirts about the region. We're having this region event, and you guys are all about the Bears.
Yeah.
No, the trick here is you sell as many as you can before you get that cease and desist letter.
That's what I was thinking too. You got to walk that line of wondering.
Then you print the letter on the new shirt.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
The new shirt version 2 is the cease and desist.
Then when they tell you can't sell the shirt, you just sell the cease and desist.
Right. I mean, it's just a shirt about bear migration. It has nothing to do with sports.
Yeah, put a picture of a bear on there, or go back to their original. What was it? The Hammond whatever shirt. What was the original team? The Hammond Pros or whatever. You should make a Hammond Pros T-shirt.
That would be rad.
And you've got you've got koozies, you've got, you mentioned stickers and buttons, it looks like. Pins. And so how are you received? Like, I mean, I can imagine like most people just like go nuts for this stuff. Like, how are you selling it? The region comes together for stuff like this.
The region does come together for stuff like this. I have a website, which is couchwolfshop.com. I'm also in several great local shops around the region, like Alley Cat's Curiosity Shop in Valparaiso, Three Wicked Apples in Chesterton, and both region record locations, which are Highland and Whiting. So, and then I do local events around, and I'm always looking to pick up new shops and get things out there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And how am I received? I would say people love it. I mean, you have great conversations with strangers because, I mean, everybody around here grew up with this stuff. So
Well, and there's something from everywhere. So, Shoe Corner, I immediately identified that as someone from Dyer.
St. John, though.
But Dyer.
No, it's in St. John.
Dyer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll fight you.
Okay. But there was also things, Rock Corner in Valpo. I had to ask. I was like, what is Rock Island?
Rock Island, yes.
Rock Island. I didn't know what that was. So you have something for everyone. So, again, region comes together for stuff like this. Everyone can identify with something that you've put out.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, obviously everyone's proud of where they're from, and I think sometimes people are just surprised to be like, oh, I thought this was such a small niche thing. Like, I can't believe there's a T-shirt about it. And I mean, there's a lot of bad Northwest Indiana shirts. Like, part of the inspiration for like the Dune Smokestack shirt was I saw all of these shirts that would be like just like showing like the shoreline, and then like for whatever reason it's supposed to be a shirt about the region, and then it's like the Chicago skyline across the lake, poorly drawn.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're leaving out like kind of the most important thing of like between the city and the shoreline are the smokestacks.
Yeah. Well, and that's my favorite part is when you talk about when it became a national park and people are coming basically because they want to, punch the card that they came to all the national parks. I could just imagine, these people coming from like Germany or something. I forget, somebody was saying that a lot of people come from like South America and all these kind of random places, and they want to see all of our parks. They want to go out west and see the Old West and things like that. Just imagine they get to Northwest Indiana, they get to the dunes, and like, yeah, this is it, huh?
This
okay.
is it.
Don't look to the left.
Right. Or the right, but I mean, either way. But so, okay, so just kind of go through real quick. Just remind people like who you are, where they can find you, how to get your shirts. Do you take submissions? Do you like work with people? Like what kind of stuff are you doing next?
Yeah, sure. Well, you can find all my shirts on CouchWolfShop.com or in local shops, like I mentioned. And as far as what's coming next, I'm working on, I've always wanted to do, this is going to get me banned from probably actually doing one, but if you've seen the Along the South Shoreline posters where it paints beautiful scenic things around there.
I was
excited.
I was going to say it, but you said it. I think that's the way to go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I will help you with some submissions. I got some ideas.
All right.
So are you looking
Excellent.
to do prints with that, let's take a step back. So when you come up with a print or a design or idea, then that can go on anything. So when you say that, are you thinking, hey, this is going to be prints, or I'm going to put it on?
Yeah. So usually, sometimes like the way the ink would go onto like a print is a little different than a shirt, and you have to be like mindful like while you're creating the art of how that's going to go. But so most of the time the mindset is doing it as a shirt first, and then if there's other things to build it out into, it'll be that. But yeah, I kind of want to do the all along the. So it's actually going to be. It's going to say delayed along the South Shoreline. So it will be the views that you see as you're stuck.
There.
Yes.
We do need a Chuck Space Disco shirt, but
we could talk about that.
That'll be good. But so here's like even the idea of like Wolf Lake. Like you can, everybody shows the PAV side of the Wolf Lake, and nobody shows the other side where the piles of tires are.
Yes.
So you should have a shirt like Future Home of the Bears and just piles of like couches and tires.
Yes.
And like this is the real Wolf Lake, not
Right.
the other side of
Right.
Wolf Lake, stuff like that. But along the South Shore, that'd be perfect. Or even you could make an along the South Shore. So if you go to like, I don't know if you know the whole story about the railroad ties. I don't want to get into it. But they built
Some of it.
They built 8 miles of track, right? Down to Dyer, in air quotes.
Yeah.
And then when they finished, they realized they put the wrong ties in.
Yeah.
So they had to tear up 25,000 brand new ties. So you should do an along the South Shore with a giant mound of railroad ties
Yes.
in North Hammond. Like, because again, that's what you see when you go on the South Shore. You see the 25,000 ties that had to be replaced because, oops, we used the wrong ones. It happens. So.
Did that person keep their job?
It was a contractor, and it was a $25 million oopsie.
Okay.
I would love if there's any insiders that would like to tell us what happened or whose fault. How you install 8 miles of the wrong anything is baffling to me. But yes, it was a $25 million oopsie, and I'd love if any insiders want to tell me what really happened. They also bought their transformers off Wish, and they blew up before they even finished the train. So hopefully the new ones last longer than the old ones. But, what are you going to do? It's government.
Right.
But, so I think an along the South Shore would be fantastic. I have a whole bunch of ideas for that. So, but
Excellent.
okay, anything else you guys want to talk about?
I just love the stuff. I think
Thank
it's
you.
fantastic, and it's so nice. I was so happy to run into you this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds. Again, this is all regional stuff that for someone who maybe just moved here from Illinois to escape that, maybe they don't understand all the nuance. But for those of us that have 20, 30, 40 years in the region, every one of these is like, I get it. There's something about it that is very region. It's not, I don't know. It's just region. I think it's the coolest stuff.
Thank you.
I was looking at like even the Dillinger Escapes. Like you should be working with them. I don't know if they sell shirts at the jail. That would be fun to work with them. I'll see if I can convince them to sell that shirt at the jail. I think that'd be fun.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be rad.
But yeah, so we got to hook you up with Bob for Bob After Dark because I think a Mothman shirt is in order.
Oh, yeah.
Bob saw the Mothman. So
Is there an Indiana Mothman? Is there a
well,
region
he was
Mothman?
on the border, but I'd say
Okay.
yeah, you can have a region Mothman. I think why not? You can have a region rat, but the like the region rat with wings could be the region Mothman.
Region bat.
There you go. So
There
I
you
mean, we
go.
got all kinds. Well, we know Mr. Pierogi. You can have some Mr. Pierogi T-shirts. There's all kinds of ideas.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, and that's what's also great about the region too. Is there's all of these little niche things that are everywhere that just kind of make each one of us chuckle.
Right, yeah. There's an infinite amount of material, so yeah. Hopefully
So
keep it rolling.
in addition to the website, where else can people find you? Because I found you on social media.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I have all the obvious platforms of Facebook, Instagram, which is Full Moon CouchWolf, and TikTok. And yes, there's CouchWolfShop.com, and I'm in a couple local shops, Alley Cat's Curiosity Shop in Valparaiso, Three Wicked Apples in Chesterton, and both Region Records locations, Whiting and Highland.
I will have to go check out Region Records. I have not been there yet, but it sounds like a fun little place. I'm glad to see record shops coming back.
Yeah, the owner knows everything about. Apparently, the region has a storied history of like recording,
Oh, yeah.
and he knows everything about old records, Josh. So, if you want to talk about region music history, I would highly recommend going to Region Records in Highland specifically.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm just gonna leave all these here. We'll just put stickers with prices on it. People can
Great.
stop in and
Yes,
buy. We're just gonna leave them and not say anything. But thank you so much. Make sure you guys check out CouchWolf on all the socials. What's the CouchWolf store?
CouchWolfShop.com.
CouchWolfShop.com. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to see what else you come up with, and we'll certainly we will pimp all of your wares.
Thank you so much for pimping me and having me on the show.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more. You guys want to hear about traffic and weather? We'll be doing that here in a few minutes. We'll be back with more after this.
It's gold rush time at Albert's. Oh, looky here! Oh, those are gonna fetch a pretty penny.
Who's gonna buy them from us?
I'll buy that gold from you. What did you say?
I said I'll buy that gold from you, and I'll give you top dollar.
That sounds great.
It's gold rush time. We will see you at Albert's.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Planting a tree, installing a fence, whether your project is big or small, NIPSCO reminds you to know what's below and contact 811 at least 2 full business days before doing any digging so that utility companies can mark the location of their underground lines. Contacting 811 is free and it's the law. Avoid possible penalties, costly repairs, or injuries. DIY or a pro, safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
754 in the region. That was a fun segment. I can't. There's just shirts everywhere. I'm like, just leave them. Whatever. We'll wear them eventually. I love all these ideas. So you guys check them out. CouchWolf. We're gonna. I hopefully we have a long relationship because I've got so many ideas that are gonna get us in so much trouble. I can't wait.
He'll have to start discerning though what is a good idea versus what is just Chuck ranting about something.
I will put the money out for it. Like I think at Chuck's, I will give away Chuck's Space Disco shirts. Like I will give them away, or even like trucker caps or whatever. I mean, I'm fine with that. I would love to make. Here's what I'd love to do. I was always thinking about. I'd love to make a shirt with all of the insults that people hurl at us, like the person that told me to go. I can't say it on the radio last week. Stuff like that. I think we should make a shirt of all the people that insult us and just put them all like little posts. Like that would be my badge of honor. So let's take a look at traffic and weather because it's a mess out there. Northbound I-65 is just absolute gridlock the entire way. Basically Crown Point all the way to the north end of 65. Southbound, no better. Everybody's trying to get off and take 30. So 30 is an absolute parking lot westbound from 65 to 41 to Illinois. So 65 a mess. Route 30 a mess. 8094 is still a mess. Westbound, there was an earlier accident at Torrance, an earlier accident at Klein. So westbound, absolute just slow moving. Bishop Ford is just an absolute parking lot. There's several earlier accidents. Northbound Bishop Ford, just slow moving all the way up to the Dan Ryan. Dan Ryan is slow on in. Everything is bad. Even the train, believe it or not, is running 20 minutes late. I'm sure you're shocked and appalled by that. Really the only way to get to Chicago right now, pay the ransom, take the Skyway toll road, all that stuff. Bob from Bob After Dark says he loves the Resurrection Mary shirts. So I'm going to connect you guys. Because I think you guys would have come up with some great ideas. But basically, traffic is just a mess. Just sit back, relax, take your time, enjoy the show. If you know a back road, you know how to get to Shoe Corner. You know the back roads. Today is the day to take all the back roads that you know to get where you need to go. How are things in weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 26 degrees with highs of 28 and lows of 13. We're having winds becoming strong and then very cold with snow and flurries up to 1 inch and a storm total to 1 to 2 inches. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 26 and lows of 23. It's going to be very cold with partial sunshine. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 44 and lows of 33 with a couple of flurries early in the morning. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and not as cold.
Thank you so much. We're over here debating what shirts we want. I would love, I don't want to be stingy, but I would love them all. But eventually, like I said, I want to come up with some new ideas because I think WJOB, I mean, we need to have like random WJOB shirts. We need to have all kinds of stuff. So,
the voice and face of the region.
Well, we're not the face anymore. We're the voice of the region.
Oh yeah,
we're the voice.
That was
the voice of the region.
Some AI thing we've got going on now with the weather.
Yes, we're the voices of the region.
Yeah, we're the voices of the region.
The voices in your head in the region.
Which I guess is kind of, I don't know. It's the first time I heard it, I thought that's AI.
So what are we doing? We're waiting to hear back from the plumbers. They may call in to talk about their apprentice competition. But in the meantime, we're taking your calls at 219-845-1100. Do you have anybody calling in?
We got two callers.
We got two calls. Let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, good morning.
I'm on.
Yeah, you are on.
Okay. Let me ask you all. What do you think about corruption, political corruption?
I am generally not in favor of it. How about you?
I'm going to give you an example. And I'm not going to call no names. But, you know, they always say Gary's got a lot of political corruption. What about Crown Point? Now, what about ghost payrolling? People serving years and years and years and years in office, 20, 30 years, and they run in again. And they don't come to work.
Okay. So let me ask this question because we talked. I
don't hear nobody talking about
no,
it.
No, you're right, and I mean, we are listening to some of the old Preacher and Big George clips, and they're talking about some of the indictments that were going on years and years ago, and so that becomes a question.
And they're going on today.
But even so let's talk about, you and I talked a little bit about Jesse Jackson Jr. Should somebody like that run for office again? after what he did? I mean, that should be the question. Like, should that be enough? We know that he pretty much, pled guilty and.
It's legal. It's legal. The president gave him a pardon, I believe, or somebody gave him a pardon. They gave Blagojevich a pardon. It was
Right.
the president of the United States. I know that Donald Trump gave
A Republican gave a
Democrat
Democrat a pardon. So what? I mean, that should really tell us what we're dealing with, right? I mean, that's the thing.
I'm saying we're picking and choosing. If we like you, whatever that, you never talk about the Democrat. I'm going to tell you right now, there's political corruption going on in this county right now, and you know who they are.
Right. We all know who they are, and that's the thing is that we know what's going on.
In the county.
Right.
They running for office. They were all running for office this time, and they ain't been to work in 3 or 4 years.
Oh,
you tell me.
yeah. No, yeah. we know. And I mean, that becomes a question is like, why?
But I say
go ahead.
I say they are Democrats. People say you don't talk about the Democrats. There's corruption going on both sides. But everybody, how many times I hear people on this radio, well, it's a Democrat. It's a Democrat. Okay, well, what about the Republicans? They don't. I mean, Blagojevich, I believe right now, if Donald Trump think, why would he give Blagojevich a pardon? If in fact he's such a king of what's right and all American and whatever. But see, again, we will jump on little people. I call myself little people because I don't have the power. Okay, but I have a voice. I do know that when I talk to people. I'm a precinct committeeman, and I talk to some of those county people. I say, why don't you all expose them? Well, they're Democrat, they're Republican. Oh, okay. So that's good government, huh? So I'm just simply saying that, so for some of those people calling me out to, what about run? They need to see what about in the county. And it's all like, oh, we don't know about that. We don't know about that. Sure you don't know about that.
Well, okay, so this becomes a question, and obviously I
believe the two of you know who those people are.
We do. I know. I mean, and that becomes the question is.
We won't call the name.
Right, but I mean, also, can we agree that one of the problems we have is that we no longer have that sort of investigative journalist media? Our local media, they are the first ones that jump on board all of these bad and expensive ideas, and they even like that Tribune article. They reached out to me and wanted to write the article about people against the Bear Stadium. I thanked him several times. I said, thank you for writing about both sides of this story because, here in the region, they don't do that. They talk about how great everything's going to be. They are cheerleaders for every bad idea. And they've just given up on being investigative journalists. They've given up on holding people accountable. And so, again, this is where I go after my media because my media is supposed to be the ones that hold people accountable and investigate these things. And they don't say, oh, it's just the Democrats or it's just the Republicans. When you find out somebody's doing something wrong, you write an article about it. You do the homework and you write an article about it, but it seems very slanted depending on who you are. And we no longer have, and that's part of the problem. That's part of when I say we have this big sort of house of cards of problems. That's one of the problems is that we no longer have investigative journalists that hold people accountable, right? Yeah. I mean, that's one of the problems.
I had a situation where I went to a debate. It was a forum. It wasn't a debate. It was a forum for all the Lake County running for sheriff. It was very cordial. I mean, they got along with each other. And one guy said, when they called my name to speak, and he said, "Oh, I remember that voice on WJOB radio. You know, you're right. You're Ron Matlock." I said, "I am." And I said, and I'm not going to call the guy's name because he might not get elected if I did. He said, "Well, I agree with everything. I turn on the radio to listen to you. I hear the other side, but you're coming, sir." I said, "Sir, I'm not running for office anymore, so I don't worry about anybody say I'm not going to vote for you. I'm not running for office. I was in office before, and I think I did a good job. I was there for 2 terms. I was on the township board. Most people know that legislative body of government helping the poor people in the indigents, I should say. And my mother always told me, I will support you, but my support will stop at the jailhouse door. And I said, I hear you. So so if they had anything on Ron Matlock, I'm sure he would have went to jail. I'm sure they would.
That should be a T-shirt right there. I support you until the jailhouse door. That should be our motto here in Lake County. But okay,
That's another region shirt.
That's a shirt, right? We support you until indictment Friday. So.
But now you won't have one of those callers to call in that beat me up. They know who they are. You know who they are. They know who they are too. But they will not call in. The only thing they're going to say, all the Democrats are bad and the Republicans are good. That's what they'll say. Okay, with that, y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much. In case I haven't mentioned it, it is 8:04 in the region. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM in beautifully rustic Hammond, Indiana. We are the voice of the region. That's got to be a shirt too. He's going to get tired of us. He's like, I can't keep up with all these.
That was the worst decision ever to go on that community radio.
It's like these guys just every day they're just giving me new ideas. Like I can't make no. Okay, do we have calls?
We got 2 more.
Oh, we got 2 more calls. Okay, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, Bob.
Morning.
Good morning, MX. How are you?
Well, there's patent rights and infringement rights on. Preacher had on MX shoe leather traffic and MX hair scramble weather. So if either one of you guys thinking you're going to do hair scramble weather that the preacher made up and MX did it, that's why the preacher did it. So don't infringe on those rights, okay? Or you guys will probably station won't come on like it should.
Uh-oh.
But I do want to talk about Ron Madlock. And but first I want to open up a new can of worms, okay? I want to talk about the mill. When I hired in 1975, I hired in the worst place you could possibly hire in was the spike mill. And it was built in 1889. And then I hear Ron Madlock's talking about racism, that it was racist that they put him in the bloomer. I would have gave my front teeth to hire in the bloomer. The bloomer, Ron, the bloomer was nowhere as bad as the spike mill. Now, when I did hire in there was a guy I didn't even know his real name. His name was the Cuban. They called him the Cuban, right? And he worked at the spike mill. And he said Castro is a bad man. And he liked Oldsmobiles. And then when I transferred into the Boilermaker apprenticeship, I'd never seen the guy again, but this thing that Ron Madlock talking about, it's racism to hire in certain parts of the mills. That's crazy. I would have loved to be hired in where Ron Madlock did, but we forgot about a lot of good things that Trump did. Trump got rid of the hydrogen hub, right? Now listen to this bright idea about the hydrogen hub. That would have costed more money for steel and would have costed more money for fuel. So what's going to happen is we're going to put these billion-dollar hydrogen hubs up. We're going to take the waste and we're going to transport it down to somewhere in southern Indiana and throw it in a cave, and then it's going to bubble up on one of them lakes, and you're going to see a bunch of fish dead. And you're going to say, why are all these fish dead? I say, all them Democrats thought of this hydrogen hub. So you better thank Trump that he got rid of this hydrogen hub, because look what Copeland did over there. He had to remediate that place by the river. And this is what would have happened with these hydrogen hubs. Trump can't be bad every day. But so Trump did get rid of the hydrogen hubs, but he wasn't quick enough to get rid of the solar panels. Look at the destruction.
Well, the tornado took care of that, so you're good there. I mean, I honestly, I really was thinking about that during the tornado. I said, can you imagine if something happened to some of those windmills? I mean, I know they're in, tons and tons of concrete, but can you imagine if one of those, took a hit?
One of those arms started flying.
Well, they all shut down because it was too windy, though, too. Remember, it's too windy for the windmills. MX, I do have, I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, I have a Mill Rat T-shirt for you from CouchWolf, so I'll put that aside for you. It says NWI, it said steel made in the region, so we'll save that. It's a Mill Rat T-shirt just for you. How about that?
thank you. I'll pick it up.
Okay.
I'll buy it.
Come by on your
Whatever.
dirt bike.
I'm
when-
not allowed to
when-
go down there. Jed told me I can't come down there no more.
I'll tell you the secret knock to get in, so you can come in. Come in on a Monday. Come pick up a Millat T-shirt. Okay, so
All right,
did
but
you
I'm
want to
not
talk
done
about?
with this. I'm not done with this. I'm not done with this racism part.
Okay,
That
go ahead.
really aggravates me. And a kid at 18 had to hire in a place like the steel at the spike mill, and he was crying racism to Bloomer. I would have loved to hire in the Bloomer, but I like steel worker Ron. We're good friends, but what he's lucky he hired in the Bloomer. I gotta go, man. I got a site to run. Take care.
Okay, you go take care of that site. You got some memes to make. We got some more calls. Let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You were on the air.
The idea that there wasn't racism in the mills is kind of crazy. There was.
So turn him up a little bit. You got that one knob. Okay, so go ahead. Again, I never worked in the mill, so you tell us about it.
Well, I can give one good example. There were people who used to grind billets, and they made leaded steel. So there was lead in the billets. And everybody who ground on that was African American. There were no whites. They knew the job was bad, and they put those people on it. The track gang was all Hispanic. I mean, the majority of them were Hispanic. There was definitely racism in the mill.
Well, and again, I never worked in the mill. I mean, so I guess the question is, I don't know, has it gotten better? Are things more equitable
I think it's
there?
gotten better. Yeah, it's gotten
Yeah.
better. It's gotten better. But I mean, back when MX hired in and in those period, there was definitely a pecking order.
Right. Well, and also, I mean, there's the other idea that the mills gave opportunities to people that otherwise wouldn't have had them. I mean, obviously, working at the mill is dirty and dangerous, but also it gave, again, my grandfather was a perfect example of a guy who came here from Italy, and he worked at one of the local, mini mills making steel doors for boxcars. And, he wouldn't have had that opportunity. He wouldn't, they told me once that they were recruiting people in, they lived outside of Naples, that there were people in Naples, Italy, recruiting people saying, come to the Midwest because they were so desperate for work. So again, those mills gave a lot of people, whether they're coming from the South or from, places like Italy, they gave them opportunities to come here. So we at least have to acknowledge that a lot of us, I say all the time, a lot of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the, if it wasn't for the mills and the refinery, most of us wouldn't be here. Right.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. And there's a name for the person in the old country who did that. I can't remember it. I read it in a book about Southworks one time. I don't know if it's like Haymaker or something like that.
Right. Like the Haymaker.
Who would go to the old country and recruit people.
Right. And and again, that's how a lot of us got here though,
great.
too. Right. But I understand. I don't disagree. But again,
they exploited, they were exploited, but at the same time, they were probably better off than they were in the old country.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, obviously, my grandfather came here. He brought his children here. They had a dream that someday one of their ancestors would come to this country and have his own radio show on WJOB. As someday I'm going to work hard, and one of my grandchildren will be on the radio spewing nonsense for 2.5, 3 hours every Monday. And so I faithfully fill that role for them. But again, that's the thing, is that I look at that. It doesn't matter if you came from, the South or from South America or from Europe, we have to appreciate the sacrifices that they made so that we would have a better life. And, we, especially here in the region, we're all region rats, like the shirt says. And, we need to remember that part of our history. So, but yeah, again, was it perfect? Yep. No, but it definitely, it got us to where we are today, for better or for worse. So, but hey, appreciate the call. Appreciate you chiming in on that. Thank you. Okay. We got any other calls?
We do not.
We do not. Okay. So I was about to say, let's take a break, but you better just throw a pen at me if I did.
She hates that.
Look, Bob sent a message. Now I think it was kind of backhanded. He said, look, a lot of these shirts are large, so Lynette's going to have to take them, because basically saying, Chuck, you're not going to fit in any of these shirts. So Lynette can take them. That's what you said. You said, yeah, these are larges, Chuck. You will not fit into them. So
no, I no. I mean, yes, now that you point it out like that, but no, that wasn't the intent of the group message.
Okay, so now we've cleared everything. Now you get to talk. So what is there to talk
Well,
about?
I do want to say we didn't get we didn't get the call with our Plumbers Local 210. They've got an open house and Indiana statewide apprentice competition on March 18th, coming up here in a few days from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. In Maryville, and they're going to do some live demonstrations, some workforce development stuff. If you're planning on attending, give them a call at 219-942-7224. Again, that's 219-942-7224. An apprenticeship competition with Plumbers Local 210.
So can we, once again, I would like them to let us be a part of that. I would love to have sort of the common man. You have all these apprentices and people that are trained to do this. Can I come in and be, what did you call us? We're like the control group?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is no better advertisement to hire skilled union labor than to have Chuck and I attempt to.
I would bring. There's a picture of this guy with a comically large pipe wrench. I would just show up with that. They're like, you don't need this 1/2-inch pipe. You don't need an 8-inch pipe wrench. Like, well, I don't care. This is the one I just use this for everything. Like, where's your hammer? I don't need one. This is what I use. Like, I just use a giant comically oversized wrench for all of my work.
So yeah, I do. I think that would be hilarious.
No, and I think that's good. I mean, we talk about that all the time. The idea that we need to encourage young people to take part in the trades. Obviously, again, the region, we have a lot of great trades here. Keep that option open. You got kids that are graduating here soon, and like for my son, we got to figure out what to do with him because maybe we just put him on Thursdays. I don't know, but so yeah, we definitely need young people to get involved in the trades. It's a great thing that they're doing this, and I hope we see more of that.
Well, and as I've got, you've mentioned a couple times, your boy is about to turn 18 or is 18. Liam's quite a number of years behind that, but we are 100% open to the idea of, hey, whatever his life path is, that's what it's going to be. But, dude, join a trade. Go be an operator or something like that. I mean, I don't know. It's you can go unless you're doing something very specialized, like a doctor or something like that. I don't know where all the value is in, if 10,000 people walk out with a business degree, okay, great, that's fine. Now you've got all this debt. If he wants to go to some collegiate route, that's fine. But I highly encourage him to join a trade because all of those people that get those business degrees, they're all going to need plumbers. They're all going to need electricians, carpenters. Find a skill. People are paying for skills.
I remember when I was probably in elementary school or middle school, they were talking about the highest paid professions. And for some reason, this book talked about underwater welding as being one of the highest paid professions.
Extremely dangerous.
Extremely dangerous.
But that's where I tell you, this is where I want to get into the whole pay discrepancy thing too. But this is not the place for that.
Well, I was going to say, so what is it? Okay, so we're waiting to hear. Plumbers Local 210 may call here shortly, so we'll keep them open to that. But so I was obsessed with this idea of being an underwater welder. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to do. So as it turns out, I both can't scuba dive or weld. But I was like, maybe, we'll figure it out. But that was one of the things as a kid, I was always like obsessed with that. I'm like, underwater welding. I don't know what needs to be welded underwater. I don't know. Like, do you just go underwater and like weld pools or what do you, but I was always obsessed with that idea. I thought it was a neat thing. And, and
so much
turns out I'm not too buoyant for that, but.
One of the parts of my job is as I go and I get not trained to do these, but I go through some of the training and watching folks like welders or pipe fitters certainly operators who are doing excavating, it's almost more of an art.
So you're that guy that shows up at the job site and says,
Yes.
My
yes,
book says
My book says you
you're
can't do this.
doing it wrong.
You're in violation.
And then a guy who's been welding for 50 years takes his mask off and just gives you that stare when you tell him he's doing it wrong.
Well, so I've learned now, I don't even say that when I go there. I dug ditch for, 10 years before I got into inspecting. And there is a huge difference. Sometimes you see some of these young kids just show up on site and they walk out of school with some construction technology degree, and you can tell they don't even know how to hold a shovel. But my point back to the underwater welding, any of the welding, certainly operators, when you get a good operator, I'm telling you, it looks like art more than science.
Well,
It's really
I've seen these videos of guys that are working with like a backhoe or something, and yeah, I mean, literally, it becomes like an appendage to them, the things that they can do with it. But again, that comes with both having good training and having good skills, and you never know. You never know, like who's going to be. You like those are the kind of things that it's part. It's part like it's part of you, but then also it's like there's certain things that you can't teach people, and that's one of those things. You just have that skill. So. If it's okay with Lynette, let's take a break and reset, and let's just kind of go through all the things going on in the world. We're probably going to do like one more segment. So if you guys want to call in, chime in on anything going on in the world, we'll be here for another segment or so, but we'll check in on traffic and weather and all that good stuff. We'll be back with more after this.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
Before Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, we were being charged various maintenance fees and various check writing fees for all of our accounts. And with Notre Dame, we don't have that. We have that true community partnership. We get interest based on all of our parish and school accounts, and the interest rate is really second to none.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
Fishing for a seafood meal without the stress or mess of cooking? Leave the work to the Strachan Van Til Seafood Department. For just $1 extra per pound, we'll fry, grill, or steam your fish with your choice of 3 kinds of breading. Try our fish and seafood dinners. Each includes a half pound each of seafood and fries, and a quarter pound of coleslaw. Want the freshest catch in town? Reel in the fish and seafood selections from your local Strachan Van Til.
8:22 here in the region. It's Chuck, it's Bob, it's Lynette. We're here on a Monday. You're sitting in traffic. So why not call us? 219-845-1100. Let us know what's going on out in the area roadways. What are you seeing? We're seeing just all kinds of issues. We've got issues on 65 north and southbound. We've got issues on 8094 westbound in several locations. Bishop Ford is starting to ease up from the earlier accidents. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, easing up a little bit. But we've got problems like 294. We've got some trouble spots if you're heading out that way, heading west. We've got 394. We've got some spots if you're heading north and south. 65, just all kinds of trouble moving northbound, basically from Crown Point all the way north. Things looking a little bit better. Southbound, 65. As Bob had mentioned, 30 is sort of the bypass for a lot of that highway traffic. So now you've got heavy traffic, 30 westbound, basically all the way from Maryville to 41. But yeah, just a lot of heavy traffic as people deal with earlier accidents. But it's going to be slow. Take your time, slow down, enjoy the show, relax a little. How are things with weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 26 degrees with highs of 28 and lows of 13. We'll be having winds becoming strong, and it's going to be very cold with snow and flurries up to 1 inch, with a storm total of 1 to 2 inches. And then tomorrow and Tuesday we'll be having highs of 26 and lows of 23. It's going to be very cold with partial sunshine. Then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 44 and lows of 33, with a couple of flurries early in the morning. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and not as cold.
Fantastic. So, Bob, anything that you want to address? Anything that you want to talk about?
No.
No?
No.
I thought you just turned your mic off. It was like, okay.
Yeah, no.
You just save it for Friday? That's fine. No,
that's
fine.
where the good content
That's where the
goes.
good content is.
No,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to. I think we've got possibly the plumbers calling in here in a little bit. Back maybe, 20 years ago now. I applied to be with Plumbers Local 210. Went through the entire process. Got the offer to come in and be an apprenticeship, while at the same time we were looking at a job out in Pennsylvania. Ended up taking that one, but I like I said earlier, I always believe that college isn't for everyone, and for the longest time, whenever I heard that, it felt like it was a negative connotation, like, oh, it's not for everyone because you can't handle it. No, I mean, there's a lot of folks in college who could not handle the trades.
Right.
And so it's, in my mind, maybe it's just me. I've always heard that to be somewhat negative, like, oh, it's not for everyone. Not everybody. Has nothing to do with that, or shouldn't. And so, yes, there are, I want to say, I think it was Ford, maybe a year or so ago, said there's something like 7 million unfilled jobs in various trade-related career paths throughout the country. So there's not it's not an unemployment problem; it's a skills deficit out there, and everybody it's a machine. You have middle school, high school, community college, state college, private college, whatever it is, and pump the kids out. They've got 10, 20, 30, 40, $80,000, $100,000 in debt, and now go make $20 an hour and try to live. It's impossible. Whereas, you join up with one of these apprenticeship programs. At the end of sometimes you end up. I want to say with the plumbers, and again, this was years ago, but they were working with Ivy Tech. So even at the end of your apprenticeship, you had a degree, you were done with your apprenticeship, and then you had a job with work experience. And so I can't speak highly enough to don't just assume. Kids, if you're out there listening at 826 here on WJOB, don't just assume that you need to go to college. It's a great opportunity if you have a vision set on something, but other than that, don't look away from the trades.
You can't all be YouTubers, right? I mean, half the kids I meet today, like, I'm going to be a TikToker and a YouTuber. Like, you can't all be YouTubers. I mean, you can, but you're all going to make like $8 a month if you do. Can't all be YouTubers. But going back to my earlier point about the Oscars, maybe you can. Maybe if we all just started watching YouTube and not, we're going to the movies, you'll be able to do that. But probably
the Oscars, you said, the Oscars were your example of, the worst parts of all of Hollywood. I've always thought, and someone had recently said it, and I don't know if it was because the Oscars were on or if it was just out there, but the Met Gala is another one that is just, you get a bunch of these millionaires out there wearing $100,000 gowns and,
wearing tax-the-rich gowns.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars of diamonds and jewelry. They've got security everywhere because of all this diamonds and jewelry. And it's tax the rich, and it's like, hello, look what you guys are doing. But it's a different world and class of people where it's very much a, do as I say, not as I do, rules for thee, not for me. And, that was my Oscars rant. I didn't even watch it. I did look back. You had said, we had a caller come in and talk about how many of the movies they've seen and the top 10, for best movies. Chuck said your goal was to not see any of them. I went back and looked from 22, 23, 24, 25, and now 26. I have seen 2 movies. So each year they have 10. of the nominees for Best Picture. I have seen 2 in the last 4 or 5 years.
Fantastic. That's too many, but
Yeah.
still. So why don't we take some calls before we take a break? So good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller.
Yes, my name is Sal Espino, a business manager at Plumbers Local 210.
Hey, good morning.
how's it going?
How are you?
Good. Sorry, I had a little bit of conflict of schedule this morning.
Oh, no problem. Glad to have you on.
Yep.
So tell us about this apprenticeship competition you have coming up.
So the apprentice competition is a statewide apprentice competition. The Plumbers Union is actually it's actually our international is called the United Association, and the United Association covers plumbers, pipe fitters, sprinkler fitters, HVAC, service techs, and pipe welders. And the sprinkler fitters will not be in this competition, but the rest will. The sprinkler fitters kind of do more of a several state contest, so regional. But yeah, this will be Plumbers Local 210, Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local 172, 166, 440, 136, all around the state of Indiana. And they'll be up here competing this week to see who comes in first place before they go to District 2. But each of those crafts will be in a competition. This will kind of give, we always say you don't have to necessarily join us, but join one of us, right? There's always different options. If you want to be a pipe fitter, you want to be a plumber, a welder. Here you're going to see what each of those guys are doing as far as in their training, what they're learning, why they're competing in this competition, though.
So what does this competition consist of? What kind of things would you see there?
There'll be pipe welding. You'll see plumbers putting in like a bathroom fixture, residential and commercial. The pipe fitters, you'll see them rigging a pipe. They kind of prepare it all for the welder in a sense. The HVAC service techs, you'll see them working on actual units as if they're like in the field. This is all watching them pretty much perform, doing the duties themselves that they would. It kind of, instead of like showing you books and samples of it, you're actually watching them do it.
So I have a suggestion for you. We were talking about this, the Olympics. Yeah. We had the Olympics a few weeks ago. We were talking about what we should do in instances like this. You should have a control group of like average guys. So what you should do sometime, you guys should have like an open house where you let average guys come in. And it's kind of like the Three Stooges. Like Bob and I would come in with like an oversized comical pipe wrench, and you would put us up against the apprentices. And you would say, here's what an average guy can do, and then here's how the apprentices do it the right way.
Well, we said there's no better advertisement to hire skilled union labor than to have someone like Chuck and I attempt to do what your folks do. I think that's a pretty stark contrast.
We do some. We are going to start opening up more open houses. That'll be on a regular basis. But we do have schools do come in sometimes, and we'll give them a couple hands-on projects to kind of see what it's like. We'll prepare them. It's well planned ahead, and we'll have some groups here. But we'll definitely invite pretty much anybody that wants to come give it a try. We got a pretty nice facility here. We used to be in Hammond. We used to have a facility in Gary also. But now we moved those two places into Maryville here. We have a full 3-story module, like a residential module that's like you're in actual construction. We have a commercial module. We have a 24 by 24 sand pit where the plumbing starts from the ground up. So we could put you in any capacity. And we're getting ready to we're in the process of putting in another 3,000 square feet. That's how much we've been growing here. So we're just running out of space for all the apprentices for their class time, though. So we're adding another classroom and so forth, though. So we're strictly just plumbing here, normally every day, though. But most people who come in to see our facility doesn't realize how much we train in the actual world of what's out there. It's not just books and pencils. It's basically hands-on. So we have a welding booth here also if you wanted to be a pipe welder. But like I said, anybody who feels like they could want to try, we'll come here and we'll set you up and we'll put you with one of our apprentices to see how you're doing with them.
No, I think that would be a great remote. We'll do like morning hosts versus the interns and the producers here at WJLB. We'll see who can. The owner, Jim Delo, always talks about how he was a laborer and how he knows how to do all this stuff. I would love to put him head to head against some of us and see if he can weld. And I think that'd be a fun.
Yeah, there you go.
But I think we'd have a lot of fun with that. So let's talk
about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I'm good.
No, I was just going to say, so tell people a little bit about the technology, because I know one of the things that, I'm always blown away by how advanced things get. I worked at one of the refineries for a while, and I sort of seen the technology for, X-raying things, and the technology that you're using to certify welds and look for problems, and just sort of talk a little bit about that. Like, how are they adapting the technology?
So most welding is X-rayed. They kind of see if what kind of penetration it has. That's some of the technologies out there. We used to do like AutoCAD and layouts. Now it's all like BIM modeling is what it's called. It's like you could actually see in virtual what it's going to look like, and where actually an end user, which we consider someone like the hospitals. And if it's all done in the BIM drawing, they could actually just open up a tablet. And their tablet, they could walk around their facility to find a valve. Instead of not knowing where it's at, they could actually, in real time in this tablet, they could actually see what's behind those walls, or what's in or where this valve might be in that ceiling. Where for us, like before this came to its time, you had to. Us plumbers, we had to go up in the ceilings and try to find where these valves are. And that may take 2 hours, 3 hours. Now with BIM modeling, it actually could just take 2 minutes where you want to know where it's at. It'll say what floor, and you go over there and find that valve to shut down these X amount of units. That, as far as in the plumbing, when you're in a commercial entity, most residential don't have that. But in a sense, but it could be done for any application or process that's being built or whatnot. So. Those are just the gist of the technology. There's like a 3D welding you could take without actually being in a welding booth. It's just a modeling machine, and it welds, and you mimic almost as if you're really welding. And you can make mistakes, and it'll tell you your mistakes along the way, but you almost feel like you're welding. And
it's like a golf simulator for welding.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? We have like truck driving simulators and farming simulators. Why not a welding simulator? I'd check that out. That sounds like fun. So I think we need to make a field trip. I would love to come check some of that stuff out.
Yeah, definitely. We have the plumbing doesn't quite have that. Every case could be different. Like a sewer backup, and not knowing how much sewer you're going to get backed up. So sometimes that's. I don't know if you can model that. I'm not sure if there's some out there.
Well, hey, there are.
Cool.
I find myself watching, like Facebook reels of guys, cleaning out septic systems and stuff. It's like, it sounds gross, but it's kind of neat to watch somebody, clear a pipe and pull out 10 feet of tree root and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat to see some of that stuff and how you diagnose those issues. But, okay, well, thank you so much for calling in. Let's just remind people, you've got the Plumbers Local 210 apprentice competition, March 18th from 9 to 2. That's at 2901 East 83rd Place in Maryville. Thank you so much for calling in. I hope we get I want to do a field trip out there and come check it out and see what kind of damage we can do.
Awesome. We'll see you guys.
Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it.
it.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back. We'll take another look at traffic and weather here, and after these on WJOB.
Looking for a hands-on career with real opportunities? Plumbers Local 210 is hosting an open house in Indiana statewide apprentice competition on March 18th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 2901 East 83rd Place in Maryville. Come see live demonstrations and watch top apprentices from across Indiana compete while showcasing the skills that power our infrastructure. Explore career paths in pipe fitting, welding, and HVAC service. For more info, call 219-942-7224 or email Shauna at plu210.org.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
Summer's coming, and Deep River Water Park is taking applications for all positions. We have jobs both inside and out for all ages that offer great benefits. Free admission on your day off for you and a friend, free uniforms, paid training, make new friends, flexible scheduling, and more. To apply, just go to deepriverwaterpark.com and you're on your way to a summer of rewarding fun.
Deep River Water Park. It's simply splash-tastic.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
Hey, it's 8:40 in the region. We finally got rid of Bob. He's gone, so we can finally have some real fun and take your phone calls and talk about the real issues. But first, let's take another look at traffic and weather. Traffic, let's go to 65. Northbound 65 is heavy, basically Crown Point all the way up to 8094. 80 is clearing up a little bit. We had some earlier accidents on westbound 8094. It looks like those have cleared up. You still got heavy travel on 30 east and westbound, people trying to avoid the highways. So you've got heavy travel, like 30 westbound, basically from Maryville to 41. 41 north is heavy. The Bishop Ford is still a little dicey from a couple of earlier accidents, so slow going. Bishop Ford on into the merge. Dan Ryan looking a little bit better, but again, just slow traffic overall. Take your time. Take your time, chill out, listen to us, have some fun. So why don't we take some calls now that Bob's gone? We can just, you and I, let's just chat. So let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, man, how's it going? This is Larry from Gary, man.
Larry from Gary. How are you?
Man. Hey,
yeah.
I'm good, man. Man, that Ron, he really makes a black man look bad. I tell you what, man. He just keeps going and going, don't he?
Okay, so what are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Well, my whole thing is that, hey, you ever heard of weather modifications?
I have, yeah.
You ever look into it?
I have. And you know what I always tell people? I said, if it's not real, then why are states like Florida banning it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you could pay to have a sunny day for your wedding.
Well, and yeah, so I mean, it's all interesting stuff. And I've always said things are always a conspiracy until they aren't. We know that there are countries like in the Middle East, they use weather modification and then they end up causing floods. I mean,
our government's got a website you can go to and check it out. And and then another thing I had a question about is, all that COVID money. Gary got $38 million over there. I think just for the city. I think it's $38 million. And I seen they spent $500,000 on assisted living houses and $2 million on something else. But where's the rest? Where's all the COVID money?
And Larry, I was saying this earlier, talking about guardrails and stuff like that. COVID was a perfect example of a scenario where we just opened the floodgates and just started giving money to everybody. And you can even to this day, there's a website you can go and see how many of your neighbors claim that there were independent hairdressers and independent babysitters and how much money people took. I mean, you can go by, search by your zip code and see who took money. So, I mean, again, I'm
gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, there were people in my neighborhood that took 6 figures of COVID money, and I know they weren't hairdressers and babysitters, right? I mean, that's the thing is that, we had I forget who it was. We had like one of the NFL players. He took millions of dollars. He bought himself a nice fancy car with it. If you're blatant about it, you go to jail. But everybody had their hands out, and you're right. I mean, millions of dollars came to the region, and we never really talked about where did it go or what was it used for.
Where is it?
Right. I mean, and again, that becomes a thing is that when the people that need the money don't get it. I mean, even like our infrastructure and things like that. Right. So there's all this stuff that we could use this money for, but then nobody wants to ask. I was talking about this earlier about investigative journalism. I didn't see one article in the newspaper about, hey, where did all the COVID money go? Right?
Right. Yes. No. Yeah. No, you ain't never going to see that.
Right. And so
I like what you guys are doing there, man. Those shirts are funny you guys are making, man. You should, do one with Jet on it, I'd have to come up with something, but I'm sure I could come up with something goofy for that dude.
No, that's our friend,
funny,
our friend
man.
CouchWolf. So CouchWolf was on. You can find him online.
Yeah.
He's got all kinds of region shirts, Mill Rat, Region Rat, Shoe Corner, all kinds of shirts. So we're going to send him all kinds of ideas. So hopefully we'll work with him and we'll have a whole bunch of WGLB T-shirts in the future.
Oh, man, you have a good day today.
Hey, thank you, Larry from Gary.
Oh,
Thank you.
another
Yeah,
thing,
go
the
ahead.
casino, man, the casino, all that money they got over there for that convention center. What's funny is they waited this long to build the hotel. You know why, right? Because when they move all their brothers and sisters out here, the Somalian, or not Somalian, Seminole tribe, then they're going to have free sovereignty over there. That's right when they build that building. But anyways, man, I got to get back to work. You have a good day today.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for checking in.
Later.
I think that's a new caller, Larry from Gary. Thanks for checking in. We've got a couple other calls, so let's take those. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Chuck, I don't even know where to begin. I think earlier you guys said you didn't know what to talk about. Wow, is there some stuff to talk about? How you doing this morning, Chuck?
I'm good. This is what I'm saying, Brad. This is Monday morning. There's so much going on. I don't know where to start.
Oh, absolutely. If I may, please. Larry from Gary, I hope you call in every day, brother, because that dude is a real Gary in there. He's not defending anything except his sovereignty and his land, and that's what's going on. Look, folks, red light cameras, unconstitutional, according to a Broward County judge.
Mm-hmm.
Does Netanyahu have 6 fingers? Does Netanyahu have 6 fingers, or is he dead? There's a guy named Jesse Morgan. He's a United States postal worker. He's admitted to transporting 280,000 ballots from New York to Pennsylvania, so he thinks, and is probably going to testify, that they need to overturn the 2020 elections. 981,000 new voter registrations from 2022 to 2020 in Illinois that didn't require any citizenship. Now let's go over the border here to some Indiana fraud. Everyone here who wants to put down their mask, quit arguing about their race and everything else, needs to look into the Indiana Economic Development Corporation and the chatter online of money laundering. But look, Chuck, get this. Here's one thing that nobody's talked about. 40,000 homes were foreclosed upon in 1 month in the U.S. And you know who leads there? You know who's got the most foreclosures in the country? Indiana.
Wow.
A 60% change since November of 2025. 60% change since November of last year on foreclosures in Indiana. Go to Atom Data, ATOM Data, for that info. Okay, look, you got hot water heaters. They're mining Bitcoin. They're not mining the U.S. dollar. And Gary, the watermelon guy, Ron, yeah. As far as Democrats and the fraud, my friend, you're going to have some things to answer for, because it's not just it's everybody. But the Democrats are king of the crop here. There's a Fortune 500 whistleblower who's a software engineer, and he's saying, and this is what I'd love Jed to talk about too, AI's not taking the jobs. It's actually Indians from the Middle East that are taking all the jobs, okay? It's out of control. The H-1B1 issue is so ridiculous, because while you had blacks being put in positions that were they were unqualified for, that they knew they were, but they took them anyway because of the societal things that were going on, they made black people look absolutely horrendous, even though there was plenty of IT people that were qualified. Then you had the Mexicans in there arguing with everybody, and the white people arguing with everybody. And meanwhile, what were they doing? They were importing Indians in mass. There's millions of them here that have been taking the jobs under H-1 visa, and it's so fraudulent and it's so deep that when you are a software engineer or somebody in the IT business, if you complain about it on Twitter this last weekend, they suspended your account. What is going on, Chuck? What's happening here? We got plenty to talk about. You run with it now, Chuck.
Brad, I went this weekend. I tried to get that little star on my driver's license.
The real ID.
So it's funny, because I was thinking about this. I waited like a half hour, and they called like 2 people. I said, you know what, I'm not doing this. But I got there last week. They said, I got my passport. I got all my stuff here. They said, well, you forgot you need a piece of macaroni art from 3rd grade with your name on it. And I had forgotten that. So I went back home and I found my macaroni art. So I got all my paperwork in order. But I mean, it's funny how even like now we're arguing the SAVE Act and saying about how, it's going to disenfranchise, married women vote. Like, where were any of you when we had to jump through these hoops for the real ID? I mean, you're jumping through more hoops for the real ID, and I was the only one sitting here saying, I don't know that I want government putting a star on my ID because I know my history. But again, this idea that nobody cared when we all did get real ID and jump through all those hoops, but now we're jumping through hoops for the SAVE Act. It doesn't make any sense, even though the majority of Americans want some sort of voter ID when you go to vote, which seems reasonable. But I mean, again, this whole idea that, like you said, we're sitting here arguing about minutia, we're fighting, we can't agree on anything, and on the back end, all these other things are happening while we're busy over here fighting. We're all fighting on the left and on the right, they're, like you said, they're H-1B visas and things like that. Like, that becomes a question, though. I mean, how do you have, this is what I've always wondered. You should look at, if you've never looked at the per pupil spending here in the United States versus like India. I mean, we're spending, 20 and 30,000, and in India, they're spending, like $6 a pupil. And yet somehow their kids come out way more educated than ours, right? I mean, again, that whole idea that you can just throw money at a problem and fix it. You have kids coming from India, they literally are spending like $10 a pupil educating them, and yet they're taking jobs from us because our kids are just not they're not ready to take on those positions. So I don't know.
Well, I don't think they're I don't think they're educated over there either. There is mass fraud that's coming out that they have fake university degrees. They were being funneled in through hospitals. There's been over 5,700 nurses that have been fired that weren't nurses. There's over 4,000 doctors that were being posed as doctors. All these were let in by the last administration, by the way, folks. So I don't want to hear anything because I'm neither side. You know that I'm neither side. But all of this has been going on. It's absolute insanity. And if you complain about it, you are being censored. This is out of control. The problem that we have here in America, and I see it trend setting, is, okay, for one, we're going to have a mass amount of capital flight from all the banks. Every bank, your neighborhood bank's in risk, your neighborhood, everybody. They're all going to be moving to the crypto firms like Coinbase and Kraken and all those guys. And you want to know why? Because they're offering all kinds of incentives that the banks can't offer anymore. The banks can only offer you literally 0.05 or 5%. I'm sorry, 0.5% on your interest. You're going to be able to get all kinds of perks in all these through all these crypto things.
Yeah, you're losing money.
How is that going to affect our community?
But I'm saying you lose money. You lose money putting it in the bank. You can make 3%, 4%, 5%, even more on crypto. So, I mean, again, there's people that put the money in, they get a CD. I call it a certificate of depreciation. You're losing money by giving it to the bank. And then God help you if you want a loan from the bank, they just sort of laugh at you. Like, we don't do that anymore. Like, so you don't give loans, you give out, 0.5% in. Like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
How are our local economies going to? How are we going to go to our local banks or credit unions now if all this capital flight is here at risk?
Right.
So then you've got people like us that have been here forever that we can't restructure, we can't rebuild. We can't get the money. They can't give it to us. They want to give it to us. That's how they make the money. But instead, they're giving it to all of these illegals that have come in here. I don't want to hear anything about the Hispanics anymore or the Spanish people. They are Americans. There is a North America, a Central America, and a South America. It is divided by states, and you have to abide by some of those laws. But when those laws are not in effect, that means it's lawlessness, and our government has failed. Our Congress has failed us. And if we do not stand up, we lose this place, and we're going to lose it because we're letting them, because we're arguing about our skin color. We're arguing about what we think is our culture when all it ever was is the government letting us do something that they thought we could do on our own. If they didn't want us to do something in our culture, they shut you down and imprison you. This is absolutely insanity. I'm so tired of hearing people calling up and saying it's a Republican thing, it's a Democrat thing. In the end, Chuck, we're going to win. Because in the end, we have to force people, although they're going to be forced into, and I got news for all you hiding behind your political curtains. There's so much fraud out there. Just you got to open up your eyes. Otherwise, you're going to lose everything that you believe you have.
So, Brad,
I believe you have things. Go ahead.
I mentioned,
sorry,
you're fine.
I don't know where to start. I'm angry.
I mentioned going to get my license. I also filed my taxes last night, so I'd be extra salty this morning. And I just kept saying all weekend, I said, they get away with what we let them get away with, right? I mean, That's the bottom line, is they only will get away with what we let them. And so I can't blame them. They are playing the game. They are enriching themselves. They are doing what they've always done, but they are doing what we let them get away with. And it's up to us to decide. And I say this to everybody I run into. I don't care about your politics. I say it will stop when you're ready to make it stop. Right. So that's a good place to leave it, Brad. I appreciate the call.
It too.
Hey, I got to take a couple other calls before I go.
Have a great week, everybody.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Take care. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, sir.
You know, that was the wildest thing I've ever heard, that if you grind on a billet of steel, that's racism. So after they ground on that billet of steel and it came to MX, I burnt on it with a torch. I welded on it. I had to take several lead tests, blood tests, because I was exposed to lead. And then I was exposed to PCBs, which is now is really terrible. And I was exposed to benzene. You know, so I never heard that before. I never heard that in a steel mill, if you grind steel, it's racism. That's the wildest comment from a caller ever on WJOB. So when you go to a steel mill, don't touch that steel, because if you grind on it, it's racism. Well, you know what? After he ground on it, I ground on it, and I welded on it with welding rod that's bad for your lungs, and then I put stuff together. I want to know this guy, where he works, what's his clock number. Just like a candy factory. If you're making candy and you got chocolate on you, it's racism. You hired in a steel mill, man. This guy that called in, if I was with my Boilermaker buddies and they heard that phone call, they would look at each other and say, what's this guy talking about? So in a steel mill, the second you walk through that door, you're probably exposed to lead, cadmium, everything. But boy, when you hire in, I would like you to tell that guy that hired you in, oh, you know what, I'm not going to grind on that steel because it's racism. I'm not going to burn on that steel because it's racism. That was the most ridiculous call I've ever heard, Chuck.
Well, I have a mill rat T-shirt.
Chuck, wait a minute.
For you.
No, don't touch that mic. Don't touch that mic, because that's racism. Your mic's different than somebody else's mic. That's racist. That's what it is. That's what I'm hearing from that guy that called in.
And I hope all of you guys listen to what Brad and I just said. I mean, again, we spend so much time arguing about what's racist and who did what.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
So wait a minute, Chuck. So Bob Starkey got a different mic than yours, so that's racism. You know, I could say anything's racism. I could say, you know what, the water in Gary is better than the water in Hammond, or Hammond is better than Gary. That's racism. But to come on his airways and when you got to work with steel and say you grind on it, it's racism. You know how many hours I spent grinding? That's just ridiculous.
I understand.
I'm just tired of it, man.
Okay,
you need some guys down here with experience.
Like I said, I never worked in the mill. I don't.
And you ain't saying nothing.
No, that's why you call in. I've
nothing.
never worked in the mill. He called. You called. You guys are having a discussion on the air. I've never worked in the mill. You guys have. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what I'm talking about. That's not what I do here. So you called in and said so I appreciate that you called in.
Well,
and set the record
I'm going to
straight.
clear it up again. To call in and say you grind on steel is racism. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
You work in a steel mill. All right, I'm sorry, Chuck.
I appreciate. Well, thank you for
that phone call.
Okay,
that's just the craziest phone call I've ever heard. Take care.
Well, I appreciate that you called back to set the record straight. Do we have any other calls, or can we go? Can I go now?
We are done.
Can I go? Can I go now? Thank you. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had a lot of fun. Don't forget CouchWolf. Don't forget the Plumber's Local 210 Apprentice Competition. So I can't wait. I will have a whole bunch of T-shirts here with all kinds of fun stuff. Hopefully we'll do more stuff with CouchWolf. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. You got a whole week of great programming here in WJOB, so I hope you stick around. Tune in tomorrow morning through the rest of the week. If all goes well, God willing, we'll be back next Monday for more. We'll do it again